South Australia versus Victoria. With your host, Rick Keegan.
Good evening and welcome to Football Park in Adelaide for the first interstate clash under lights between South Australia and Victoria. The two sides have met on 101 occasions since 1899, with Victoria winning 77 of those matches, South Australia 22 and 2 matches drawn. Here at Football Park, it's a similar tale. Of the 5 matches played, Victoria have won 4 and South Australia 1. To take a look at the South Australian side tonight, here's Robert Otey.
The South Australian selectors have not placed the side for publication. However, they have included 3 big ruckmen, Johnston, Parker and Redden. Parker, no doubt, filling in at fullback to try and overcome the great height advantage up there of the big fellow Salmon. South Australian selectors have picked an in-form side. They've performed very well in their club games, and it's only a matter now of whether they can perform equally as well tonight as a team here at Football Park against Victoria. Now over to Ian Day up in the broadcasting positions.
Thank you, Robert. Yes, unlike South Australia, Victoria have confidently predicted their side, and we seem to have tender spots at full forward with Paul Salmon. In ruck, I can see problems with Simon Madden and Peter Moore. The half-forward line of Peter Dacos, Jim Jess and Timmy Watson is a brilliant one, sure to cause us problems. I've never seen a bad Victorian side, and this is certainly no exception.
Thanks, Ian. Well, that sets a magnificent scene here at Football Park. We'll be back after this short commercial break with the opening bounce, our commentators Ian Day and Peter Marker.
Welcome to Football Park Adelaide for the inaugural night clash between South Australia and Victoria. A crowd of 40,000 plus. Cars still streaming down the boulevard. We pause for the anthem. On the right-hand side from South Australia, Glenn, Jesse James from Victoria. Umpire Laurie Argent gets the big game underway here at Football Park. Almost a capacity crowd. The ball knocked towards Phillips. In there is for South Australia, or Tuck picks up the ball for Victoria. But a free kick is going to South Australia. The first one of the game. It looks to be Tony Giles. Victoria have already played ducks and drakes with the side that we named for you just a moment ago. I can see Peter Moore at centre half forward. And I think you'll find Watson's playing centre, but a long kick by Giles up towards the half-forward line, getting back on his view. There's a free kick against South Australia for a push in the back. It was there. Already South Australia giving away height as Watson gets the ball quickly over. Quick with the ball now is Mew, gets the handball away. South Australia through Bradley. Craig, a long handball out. South Australia now going into attack. There is Bradley again under pressure, coming away is Watson, he's down, and the umpire indicates that it was a trip, not a popular decision by umpire James in South Australia. The doormat Dool kicks Victoria to the half-forward line. Healy for the Victorians now, heads in towards goal. Salmon on the lead, a beautiful pass. Found him on the lead. Max Parker, the South Australian full-back, a good 20 metres away, a perfect pass. And Salmon has got the ball 25 metres out right in front. Oh, what a sight it is at the back of Football Park in Adelaide. Salmon, 198 centimetres. A sensation in VFL football this year. Towards the golf course end, the Vics are underway. A goal on the first minute and a half.
Well, they always said that Paul Salmon would probably be a danger man at full forward. He's a danger man anywhere. The Victorians got perhaps a fortunate free kick which saw Bruce Dool go into attack, and too many players up. Gerard Healy, he's an opportunist for the Melbourne Football Club. The kick was perfect, and Paul Salmon, he converted as he normally does.
Johnson for South Australia against Madden for Victoria at the centre bounce. Madden's tap away, thumped in towards Bradley under pressure now from Peter Moore. This time South Australia has got the free kick. Bradley gets it out wide. Robson for South Australia under pressure. Craig, tackled by Tuck, hurriedly gets rid of the ball. Recovers well, gives the handball away. Naily for South Australia, too slow to get rid of the ball. Dacos. The umpire said he's being hung on to. Peter Marker.
Dacos will put the Victorians into attack. In pretty good form for Collingwood of late. Peter Dacos kicks it up to centre half forward. Peter Moore getting up for Victoria. It's a big leap and a strong mark against two opponents. Greg Phillips has taken up his spot at centre half back for South Australia. Peter Moore goes into the pocket. He won't find a player. That goes out. There'll be a ball in the right forward pocket for Victoria.
Peter, it's imperative that South Australia get off to a good start, and it hasn't been good to date.
Well, I guess it's also imperative that the Victorians do. They got a bath here last year, and they'll certainly want to make amends for that. Craig gets it out very quickly. Super handball. He runs it clear, and Russell Johnson for South Australia puts it over to Greg Phillips. The big burly centre half back kicks awfully. In fact, that's out on the full. And Victoria will kick back in. That appears to be Dennis Carroll. The kick is back to half forward. Peter Moore getting underneath the ball, drop the head. We see him do that pretty often in club matches. Fighting hard for the ball, Robin White for South Australia. Also there is Wayne Johnston. The crowd yelled out for Glenn James to give a free kick, but it wasn't there, and there'll be a ball in left forward flank for the Victorian side.
Johnson 12 for South Australia, 24 is Moore. Johnson down, under pressure now, busting his way through for South Australia was Phillips. Gets the ball back, well taken by Hawkins. Hawkins elects to play on around the corner. Tuck clear on the right forward flank. 40 metres out, puts it up towards goal. Coming back with a boot, going to be close, just offline. And a point to the Victorian come Hawthorn run on Ruckman. Victoria 1-1, South Australia yet to open their account.
Max Parker, fullback for the South Australian side. He's got a big job, but he's a capable player. Not the best kick-off in terms of a good-looking kick. It nearly found a South Australian player in Russell Johnston, but he dropped the ball, and umpire James comes in for a bounce. Peter Dacos is there, number 6 for Victoria, having a chat to Glenn James. Gerard Healy is number 3 for the Vics. 17 for South Australia, Martin Leslie. An awkward bounce, comes away through John Platt, and the kick is into the centre of the ground. A mark spilled there by Cunningham, but he's being paid, or is it Peter Moore? Plays on immediately. Madden, Paul Salmon it was, getting underneath the ball. Victorians have got the run of it now through their captain. Down he goes, Gary Wilson. No free kick. On this occasion, kicking around the body is Doug Hawkins. No mark taken. Phillips runs it through powerfully for South Australia. Kicks to centre wing. Peter Motley is there, but a very strong mark taken by John Kennedy.
Kennedy at centre wing to put the Vics into attack. Goes towards the half-forward line, looking for more, sets himself. Phillips there as well. Phillips in front, thumped away now. In goes Johnson, can't pick up the football. Platten tackles that player. They're going in hard against the tide. There is Robin McKinnon for South Australia. The ball comes out now towards Cunningham. No, Cunningham is Watson. Watson gets it out now. Here's a chance for Kennedy, twists and turns. Hooked back there by Hawkins. Hawkins in towards the full forward area. Quickly there was Buckley. Can't pick it up. South Australia through White. Come away short to centre wing. Motley up. The back of the pack is McKinnon. Elects to play on Craig. Oh, got a bad bounce. Lucky one for Mew. Mew drive towards Moore. Half forward line. Strong mark. Moore has got it 45 metres out. Salmon on the lead. Oh, it's a shocking kick, but it's going in towards Dacos. Trouble South Australia. Dacos settles, hooks it in towards goal, and I think he's bottled it. The goal to Dacos. No pressure put on that player. To the rebounds. No, a free kick to Neil Craig. Craig sends South Australia into attack up towards the half-forward line. Dool thumps it away. First to recover is Ackley, gets it across there now to Cunningham. Cunningham in turn to the half-forward line. They go into attack up towards the half-forward line by Hawkins. The ball close to the line. Victoria through Watson, and the umpire has said what? The ball is out of play. Left full forward pocket. 2-1 Victoria. Moore and Johnson. McIntosh waiting for the ball. Platten and Watson. Quickly in is Dacos. Dacos gets the handball back. Cunningham a long one out. Here's a chance now for them to go into attack. Well ridden by Watson. Watson gets it over to Wilson. In turn, it's given across now to Buckley. Heads for the open goal, and the Vics have got number 3 on the board. Clearing away in the first 8 minutes. 3 goals, 1. SA nothing.
The Vic showing a lot of body power, and Peter Dacos has been in the play, and he's done some very clever things. The handball came over. Have a look at that. Should have been a tackle. Applied the body instead, and it was Tim Watson who put the handball over. Wilson, in turn, gave it to Jimmy Buckley, and that's how easy it is when you've got running players. Victoria 3-1, South Australia yet to score.
Simon Madden getting the hand first to the ball out of the square. South Australia already in trouble in this area. Johnson, a former VFL player, striving to get over the top of that player. Madden again to the half-forward line. Johnson couldn't. Butters up again for the ball. McKinnon is 10-3 Platten for South Australia. And umpire James has seen a free kick. It's going to South Australia. Didn't see what it was for, but it's going to McIntosh, high to the half-forward line. Setting himself, Roberts can't pull it down. In there, Kernahan, Roberts dragged to the ground there by Dool, and the free kick will go to the full-back for Victoria, and he's out at centre-half back at the moment.
He's a veteran, but I guess one of the best backmen ever in the game. Good kick, up goes Phillips, but it was Peter Moore in the middle of the pack, and eventually the mark is paid to Russell Johnston. He swings it out to Phillips. Phillips kicks long. Getting underneath the ball for Victoria again is Bruce Dool. Bruce Dool kicks to the centre of the ground, looking for Wayne Johnson. In fact, it went through that player. McIntosh to the South Australian side, over to Wayne Johnson. A long kick forward. Kernahan couldn't get hands to ball, ducks the head, down he goes, and umpire Larry Argent will bounce it. Well, the South Australian side haven't been into attack very often. It's probably about as close as they've got. Stephen Kernahan, a fine young player for the Glenelg Football Club in South Australia. Up high he goes, got the tap away. Dacos it was who went down. Bradley's in there for South Australia. He gets thrown to the ground by Bruce Dool. And there'll be another bounce down, probably 10 metres from the South Australian scoring line.
Gee, Peter, if Dool's lined up at full-back, he's covering some territory.
I think he's in the back pocket on Roberts. Pert, I think, is full-back for Victoria. Down goes Bradley again, holding the ball. Umpire Larry Argent was pretty quick on that one, and the free kick will go back to the Victorian player in John Kennedy. The handball went out immediately to Mark Boss. They're playing it on the outer side of the ground. On that occasion, Simon Madden. Peter Dacos in front. In opposition, Lee Robson. Dacos is a star, no doubt about that. Dummies the handball, he's in trouble now. Got a long handball clear, looking for Michael Tuck. It gets to that player and he kicks it forward, a wobbly old kick, but he was under pressure. There'll be a ball in the attack side of centre wing for the Victorian side.
Played over 10 minutes, 3-1 the Vics. SA no score, throw in half forward left flank. Moore against Johnson. Moore's tap. Taken there by McIntosh of South Australia, back towards centre field. Tony Giles still check side of the centre circle to put SA into the attack up towards the half-forward line. Standing his grand back there was Kennedy, appears to get in the back. Motley a chance, handball over Kernahan. Roberts is going to happen to Shepherd. Kernahan shot it, goal, bounced through. 3-1 Victoria, South Australia a goal. Johnson against Madden, brilliantly taken by Bradley in towards Kernahan, goes up there, couldn't quite pull it down. Platten through, showing a lot of pace as he leads towards the ball, towards the boundary line. Kennedy's there as well, and the ball is close to the line. Umpire Jesse James coming in to adjudicate, and I think you'll find he'll probably bounce the ball in the full forward left pocket. A brilliant attacking move, initiated then by Bradley like lightning. The ball in the left full forward pocket. Madden back, Kernahan, Madden a clever tap. Victoria come clear up towards Anderson of South Australia. 18 years of age yesterday. He's got the ball on the half-forward line. On the lead goes Roberts. Kernahan in the square. He's going towards Kernahan. 2 Vics back on him in the middle of the pack. Can't get it. Fisted away. Quickly Victoria now. Kick clear. Back to, from Mark Boss. Watson can't pick it up. Johnson for South Australia. The handball beautifully intercepted. Dacos.
Dacos very clever. He's played well already. Phillips getting underneath the ball. 4 kicks Dacos. Down it comes Russell Johnson playing the roving role. Martin Leslie gets through the pack very easily. Here's a go for South Australia. Giles into attack from half-back. Not well directed, though, and an easy mark in defence taken by Simon Madden.
Peter, he didn't look, just blazed away, and South Australian forwards caught out of position.
I'll agree with that, Ian, and Simon Madden plays it on immediately. Ackley for Victoria out of trouble. Gerard Healy way out there on his own, doesn't get the best of bounce. Well done, Martin Leslie. In for South Australia is Mark Nayley. Nayley under the left boot, centre half forward, he wants Dwayne Russell. The punch away comes from Chris Mew. Victoria out of trouble momentarily. Jimmy Buckley through the centre of the ground, or is it Timmy Watson? No, Buckley it is. Getting underneath the ball, Robin White. Parker is wrong-footed. Finally, it's Phillips, gives it back to Robin White. South Australia playing a little bit better at this stage. White kicks into an open space. Getting back on the ball is Doug Hawkins, showing plenty of pace. Around onto the left boot, not the best kick I've seen. Bradley, easy as you like. A screw punt back into the forward area. Up goes Roberts, down goes Roberts. The punch away comes towards John Kennedy. He's playing well. A good kick away finds David Ackley, and he takes the mark. Defence side of centre for the Victorian side.
Ackley gets a lead from Moore. Centre half forward. Phillips there. Johnson back. That's a good mark. Russell Johnson, half back flank. Anderson wants it at centre wing. He's going towards Motley. Up high over the top, Kennedy. Back there, Ackley. Anderson goes in. Tries to get the ball out towards South Australia. Teammate there in number 20. Trying to pick him up, Peter. I don't even know who number 20 is. South Australians 20.
Dwayne Russell.
Dwayne Russell.
They certainly look different in these Guernseys. They should play in them more often.
You are dead right. He's tapped away. Well taken by Victoria's Buckley. Drives to the half-forward line. Big leap there by Robson. Getting back on the ball is Robin White for South Australia. White, long way out. McKinnon with him out there now for Victoria is Cunningham. Cunningham, McKinnon. One-on-one going through Johnson. Can't find the football. Dacos can. Dacos hooks in towards goal. Parker getting back. Going to be close to out of bounds on the full, I think. And Max Parker will get the penalty free kick in the right back pocket.
Certainly a big crowd here at Football Park tonight. They're thinking about closing the gates, and there are several thousand people locked out at the moment, cannot get in. Not a good kick away, the pack flies. Wilson, or the tackle on that was out there holding the ball, they yell. South Australia clear. Not a good kick away, and that's gone out. We'll see a ball in. Left forward flank for Victoria. White was the player that cleared it. Gerard Healy there, number 3 for Victoria. Peter Moore playing at centre half forward and playing well. Gets the tap away, does it well. Timmy Watson trying to clear the ball. South Australian captain Neil Craig clears it for the Crow Eaters. McIntosh underneath the ball. I think he tried to play on. In opposition is Mark Boss. McIntosh clears it into the half forward area. Roberts from behind. Big leap, couldn't mark the ball. Bursting the pack for South Australia, Dwayne Russell. Dool in there fighting hard. Bodies everywhere. Congestion reigns. And would you believe? Umpire James has found a free kick. Well, there might have been one in there. Gary Perk playing fullback for Victoria this evening. 15 metres as well.
Yes, Peter, I thought it was in the back. He's got it from centre half back, kicks long, up towards Moore, centre half forward. Phillips there as well. Robson leaves it behind Dacos and Robson. Over the top 4 is Robin White. And the umpire said holding the ball, I think, and it's going to South Australia plus 15 metres. Dacos not happy.
Couple of teammates there in.
Collingwood teammates. Phillips quickly kicks to the outer side. Getting back on it out there is Russell. Wayne Russell, 19 years of age, to put the Crow Eaters into attack up towards full forward. Kernahan there, settling himself, can't bring it down. Dool can't pick it up. Going through quickly for South Australia, Motley. Ackley, Platten over the top. The umpire's coming in to bounce. 20 metres out in front of the South Australian goal.
Victoria 3-1. The Crow Eaters are a goal. Umpires Laurie Argent and Glenn James in charge. Big crowd here at Football Park, enjoying every minute. Kernahan for South Australia up high. Beat to the punch by Madden. Platten is number 3. The tackle is on. Glenn James has blown the whistle. And he'll have a bounce. Chris Mew there for Victoria. Hit his head a little while ago. Doesn't look too flash. Gary Wilson for the Vics clears. Didn't have a look. Another mark taken out there by Dwayne Russell. He's a big, powerful man. He was out last week, suspended. It's his first match back after that suspension. That will just about bring rain, that kick. It's going to land in the square. Kernahan couldn't mark the ball. Plenty of Victorians down. Gee, they're fighting amongst themselves. Finally, it was Platten who got in there, and another free kick for the Victorian defence to be taken by Bruce Dool. He'll clear it out. He'll find Chris Mew. He appears to have recovered reasonably well. Big Madden has run down into the centre of the ground, but he's aiming for Peter Moore. Moore recovered beautifully. Madden makes ground, but he won't get to that ball. Down goes Jared Healy. Tony Giles has it now. He swings a handball out. Martin Leslie tries to break the tackle and can't. Greg Phillips still doing good work. Fighting for the ball, McKinnon. That's a better handball. Here goes Anderson. Through goes John Kennedy for the Vics, and he puts it out to Gary Wilson. He in turn puts it over to Jared Healy. Peter Moore's on his own, and that's where the ball goes. Not terribly well put. Lee Robson. He looks a bit like Rasputin. Puts it over to Martin Leslie. Back it goes to Craig, and that's a fine mark.
The South Australian captain gets it over to McKinnon. The handball is not good. Rescued, however. Bowling off now is Bradley over the half-forward line. Go the Crow Eaters up towards full forward. Getting back on it, almost a brilliant mark there to Russell. Platten goes in. Mew there as well. McIntosh goes down. The umpire lets it go on as Ackley kicks Victoria clear. Up towards the centre line. Madden gets up high. Craig for South Australia. Healy the tackler. The umpire is going to ball it up between centre and centre wing. Oh, do you think we've got a parochial crowd here? Well, it's understandable. A bounce down between wing and centre. Madden for Victoria. Almost a tap. Craig for South Australia gets it out. Anderson jams it onto his boot to the half-forward line. Russell again. McIntosh for the crumbs. Can't pick it up. Kennedy misses it. Kicked in now full forward there by South Australia's Anderson, and it's Motley. It is just offline. A point to South Australia and Motley. 1-1 South Australia, 3-1 Victoria.
Neil Craig's handball, the captain of South Australia, very quick. He'd be the quickest reflex handballer out there. Punched away from Robin McKinnon. Racing out for it there for Victoria is Mark Boss, but we'll see a ball in right half-forward flank for the South Australians. Well, it opened pretty fast for Victoria, but they've been pegged back a little bit. There's no breeze here at the park. Number 16, Kernahan for the Crow Eaters. Simon Madden. The knock away, we see Platten fighting hard for the ball. A quick kick in. Here's a chance, Roberts. Couldn't take the mark, but he's got a free kick. Umpire James gets the big cheer from the South Australian crowd because he's finally given one.
He's popular now, Peter. Let's have a look at it in replay. Roberts against Dool. Well, he certainly had some interference. Let you be the judge.
Neville Roberts, first kick. Several years ago he played with the Richmond club in Victoria. He's the most professional goal kicker here. Doesn't miss many. Not a good kick away, but it's going to float through. Neville Roberts kicks a goal for the Crow Eaters. In front. Nothing much that Bruce Dool could do about that one. The pressure on Neville Roberts, he'll level the score with a goal. I put my money on him. It's a very good kick for goal. Straight through the centre. 2 goals, Roberts. The scores are level here at the park. 3-1 apiece.
South Australia starting to get some drive from their smaller players. However, it was Giles who sent them into attack to the half-forward line. But Nailey sporting a bandaged elbow. You'll see him come out with the ball. He's had a bad elbow. Hooks around the corner. Fortunately, Roberts was in the lead. Dool couldn't do anything, and South Australia have tied the game up.
Well, we're past the 22-minute mark now. There's no breeze here at the park. Very good conditions. The big crowd loving it. Madden. Through for Victoria. Madden again trying to back up his own good work. He gets a free kick for a push in the back. And he plays it out to the dominator, Wayne Johnston. Kicks around the body looking for Dacos. Lee Robson got to the ball first. The handball comes out. Through Wilson, they run it into attack. Dacos gives it back to the Victorian captain. The handball goes on further. Victoria have a shot at goal. It's very close, just offline. Pick the player up in a minute who kicked for goal, and it in fact was Timmy Watson. But it's a point. Victoria 3-2, the Crow Eaters 3-1.
A beautiful double play there by Victoria. Deserved better. Max Parker. A nice looking kick back towards centre field. In front, Madden couldn't bring it down for South Australia through McKinnon. For ducking his head there was Giles, Robson, Dacos Thumps it away. Chance Victoria now. Well pulled down there was Johnson. And the umpire has indicated that it's gone out of bounds on the full. A good tackle by South Australia. Put some pressure on. And the ball is returned by Parker. Back towards Madden. 1-2 grabs. Can't complete it. McIntosh doing well. Platten. No one backing up. He's got to go get it himself. Works it to the line. And the ball out of play. Half forward left flank. Victoria in attack. The Vics by a point. Close to time on the first quarter.
South Australia have increased their workload a great deal in the last 15 minutes. The Victorians have stopped momentarily as Michael Tuck takes it off hands again. Not a good kick forward. Just in though, and we'll see another ball in the left forward pocket. As we've mentioned, gee, I thought that was Maryland for a while. As we've mentioned, Peter Moore is at centre-half forward and playing well. Well, played well early, but the ball hasn't got down there that often in recent times. The ball knocked down. South Australian players everywhere. Martin Leslie kicks around the body. McKinnon used the body well for the Crow Eaters, and he clears it towards the centre of the ground. The pack fly, Victorian players down. That's where they should be. The handball comes out. Gerard Healy just gets the kick away. Paul Salmon, the lead was too early. Here's a goal. Salmon off the ground. Very casual. He's kicked it out of bounds, not on the full. We'll see a ball in now in the right forward pocket for the Vics.
He had time to steady. 2-on-1. He was being shepherded. Salmon 26 against Redden of South Australia. Over the top came Phillips, put it back from whence it came, which is over the line, full forward right pocket. Into time on of the first quarter. 26 minutes gone. South Australia by a point. Redden giving away a few centimetres to Salmon. Then most of the players do. The tap down, coming towards Johnson. Johnson on the left leg, hooks. Wide of the big white sticks, and it's gone through for, yes, a point to Victoria, 3-3, South Australia 3-1.
They're a bit untidy, the Vics, at the moment. Their smooth movement through the forward lines has been halted by the South Australians. They're applying a lot of pressure on the body with the ball, and that's paying dividends. Max Parker goes straight down the centre. Big punch away from Salmon. Beautifully put. Through comes Giles. Finally McKinnon for the Crow Eaters. Runs through half-back. Kicks out to centre wing. Motley behind. Tried to mark in front of his body was Mew. Not Mew, in fact, John Kennedy. He did it well because he had one arm pinned and took the mark with the other hand. Gerard Healy couldn't take the mark. Giles couldn't pick the ball up. Wayne Johnson can. Jimmy Buckley shrugs the tackle beautifully. The kick's not good though. Max Parker is in front of Salmon, playing the ball in front of him. He's going to clear it. Got a bad bounce. Salmon comes in yet again. The whistle is gone. Max Parker will get a free kick for being legged. Big Max plays for the Warriors here in South Australia, being coached by former Kangaroo Malcolm Blight. Big leap in the centre of the ground. Simon Madden couldn't take the mark. McIntosh doing wonderful work for the South Australian side. Down goes Robin White. He wants to play it on. He got the free kick, and it's Johnny Platten who comes out with the ball. They'll let him play on. The Vics stop momentarily. Platten tears off. The kicker's looking for Kernahan. Up goes Pert. Couldn't take the mark. Roberts is there as well. Very close to the line. Players stack up. Congestion reigns as umpire James comes in for a bounce.
A bounce down in South Australia's right forward pocket. 27 minutes gone. 22 for Victoria is Watson. Madden tries to hook it back, goes for the safety of the line, a throw in right forward pocket, about 25 metres around from the South Australian goal. 2 points for the Vic. Madden and Kernahan 16. Thump clear, winding his way through was Boss up towards the Buckley. It was up towards centre. Here's a chance now for Phillips. Gets it over. South Australia through Giles. Go forward. High in towards full forward. Roberts there getting back on the ball. Will Stool, but it was just a point close to the behind post. A point to South Australia, and there's the siren. The big clash at Footy Park in Adelaide. Victoria 3-3 leads South Australia 3-2.
It seems incredible to believe that a Victorian side with the likes of Tuddenham, Skilton, Nichols, Goggin and the great Polly Farmer could kick only 3 goals. But that's exactly what happened against South Australia at Adelaide Oval back in 1965. The Crow Eaters won by 64 points in a torrid encounter that featured the toughness of legends like Neil Curley, a very young Carl Ditterich and Des Tuddenham. Tonight, you're back in Adelaide, but under lights and in colour, and with 7 Sport once again.
Welcome back to Football Park. 1 point the difference at quarter time, just recapping the scores. Victoria, 3 goals, 3, 21 points. In front of South Australia, have scored 3 goals, 2, 20 points. To take a look at the stats from the first quarter, we see that South Australia has had 41 kicks to Victoria's 50. Marks have been 12 apiece. Handballs, 21 to the local side, 19 to Victoria. Frees, well, they've been even Stevens, 9 free kicks each, while the rucks, 1 out of centre, 2 to South Australia and 1 to Victoria. Well, just a quick word on the conditions down here, Robert. There is a slight breeze blowing, and I'd say it would be favouring the southern end at the moment.
There is, and there's also people trying to jump the fences to get in at the moment. The place is absolutely packed out. Victoria started off that quarter. They haven't used any interchange players. Jess, Evans and Carroll have remained on the boundary line for the whole quarter, and she's back to the action. It's pretty vigorous down here at ringside.
At the start of the second quarter, South Australia trailing by a point. Umpire James puts the ball down. Russell Johnson, through comes Wilson, did it well. A player there nearly had his head pulled up in the centre, and he will take the free kick, and it's Doug Hawkins. Plays it on immediately to Chris Mew, down from centre half back. The kick into the forward line, not well directed. There's Greg Phillips, puts it over the top. The handball comes out from Martin Leslie. He gives it to Mark Nayley. Nayley's kick, not a good one. Fine mark taken by Tuck. Oh, no play on the umpire call. Fighting out there for it is Doug Hawkins again. The Victorian captain and Gary Wilson is also there. The crowd want a free kick, but I don't think umpire James will oblige. He's having a chat there to the South Australian captain. The bounce down. Number 12 for South Australia, Russell Johnson. Madden got the tap down though. The tackle is applied. The Victorians try to run it out. Couldn't. Nayley fighting hard for the ball. He gets a technical free kick. Gee, Gary Wilson only just touched him.
Nayley from half-back flank to put the Crow Eaters up over centre line. Kick number 4 to the half-forward line. Russell there, thumped away by Mew. First recover, however, for South Australia was Giles. Kicks it long in towards full forward. Kernahan! 25 metres out. Right in front. A chest mark, plus 15 metres. That brings him right to the edge of the square. A magnificent clearing kick by South Australia, by Tony Giles. And Stephen Kernahan has a chance from just 10 metres out to put South Australia in front. And if he does, you just listen to the crowd go. South Australia 4-2. Victoria 3-3.
Well, a good start to the second quarter. Giles, or Nayley it was, that kicked out of defence. Giles was the player that came down from half-back. He's doing a fine job on Gerard Healy. It was a long kick into the forward area, and Stephen Kernahan is a champion. Certainly Pert will need to be right on his mettle to beat Kernahan tonight. South Australia in front, 4-2, the Vics 3-3.
Russell Johnson for South Australia against Madden for Victoria. Johnson and Madden, line ball that one. Trying to get through was Tuck. A line ball, Gary Wilson in there, so too is Neil Craig, the respective captains. And a rebound will take place by umpire Glenn James. Almost back in the centre circle. Johnson again against Madden. Madden thumps towards his half-forward line, coming to meet it. Phillips, roundhouse right, finds Craig, dummies, twist, turn. Oh, Anderson took his eyes off the football, tucking against him. Anderson butters up again. Kick to the half-forward line, now by Giles again up towards South Australia's half-forward line. Quickly in is McIntosh. McIntosh puts it high. Kernahan, Roberts, Stool, big leap. First to recover is Mew. Mew on the half-back line, slips it across now. Boss gets it across towards centre wing, and there the mark will be taken by Watson.
Timmy Watson tears off. The handball goes over to Michael Tuck. Too many South Australian players ran down. They didn't get back quick enough. Robson comes through the pack. Peter Moore fell over, then applies the tackle. Players everywhere, and umpire James will bounce it. Well, McIntosh had the chance for South Australia going in there, and he had Bradley on his own. Ignored that player and went to full forward. As it turned out, not the right decision. A bear hug applied to Peter Moore, holding the ball, and the free kick goes to Lee Robson. Not the tidiest footballer I've seen, but he's pretty well effective. Big leap there by Dwayne Russell. Gee, must have been close to being paid. Laurie Argent's holding the ball, but ducking the head. Off goes Chris Mew. The kick is to half forward. Coming out, Paul Salmon, and he takes the mark on the chest. Umpire James on the spot. Big Paul Salmon at centre half forward. Certainly no problems with distance. And from what we understand, he can kick accurately. So one would deduce from that he should kick a goal. Very deliberate about the way he lines up, Paul Salmon. Takes a lot of time. Kick on the way, there's no doubt about that one. Through the middle, 2 goals, Paul Salmon. Bursting through the pack. Jeff Cunningham's kick was marked by Phillips. Laurie Argent says it's not your ball, Greg Phillips. You're into the back of Peter Moore, and he has to give it away. Now, we do know that Moore can kick a long way. He appears to be, no, it's going to be a torpedo, but now it's a drop punt. We thought better of that. Kick number 4, Peter Moore. Beautiful kick. The bounce, or the post wobbles, but it's gone through on the wrong side for Peter Moore. Victoria now 4-4 to South Australia 4-2.
What a magnificent kick. Would have gone 55, 60 metres. Parker out towards Phillips. A big leap and beautifully taken by Cunningham. Half forward left flank, thought about playing on to Buckley, but he's going into the lead of Salmon now, coming across Robson. Oh, beautifully taken there by Victoria's Buckley. And he's got it, almost nonchalantly got it, one-handed, about 35 metres out. Jim Buckley spent a time in the back pocket. Victoria have made an interchange. Carroll is on, but we watch Buckley kick for goal, straight through the middle. His second goal. Victoria kick clear, 5-4 to South Australia 4-2.
Dennis Carroll, as Ian Day said, just replaced Jeff Cunningham. And Jimmy Buckley's done very well. Kicked a goal in the first quarter, just kicked his second. It was a very, very casual approach to the ball, but he marked it very well.
Rick Keegan.
Yes, Dennis Carroll's come on for Victoria. Jeff Cunningham's gone off and Dennis Carroll's gone to centre wing.
Thanks, Rick. Johnson gets the tap for South Australia, but straight to Tuck. Tuck up towards the half-forward line. Robson comes to meet it for South Australia under pressure. Gave it away to Giles. Tuck in there, also Dacos. But umpire James has found a free kick for South Australia. It's going the way of Tony Giles from centre half back. A long kick. Kick number 8 going to the half-forward line. Craig, a handball out, getting back on it is Ackley around the corner. In towards Mew, won't quite get there, and the ball goes out of play. It's not Mew, it's Dennis Carroll, the new player on. The South Melbourne boy gone straight into the action. Should say Swans, of course, South Melbourne, yesteryear. South Australia through Nailey. Up towards the half-forward line. Roberts there, Dool showing a lot of pace. Cutting across Healy, McIntosh. Platten goes in hard. McIntosh burrows out, gets it back towards Johnson, but he's won a free kick on the leaders. Kernahan going in short. Motley can't get it. I think it's Bradley in there. Roberts vying for the ball with Tuck. Bradley goes in again, but the umpire will come in and bounce on South Australia's half-forward line.
It's the first occasion that South Australia have short passed into the forward line, and well, it didn't come off, but they're certainly trying things, which is important. Kernahan, Madden got it away. Johnson ran past the ball. Getting through again is Giles. He must be following his man down. Madden got the kick away, not a good one. Johnston, got the handball, but not clear. For Victoria, it was Timmy Watson. The handball went out to Peter Moore. Here's another chance for the Vics. Gary Wilson could walk into a goal. Mickey Mouse could kick one from there. Through it goes. He in turn put it over to number 26 for the South Australian side in Anderson. A big leap there by Kernahan. Off hands Roberts. It's in the goal square now. Didn't get a good bounce. Pert for Victoria doing good work. Also in there was Mark Boss. They've got players backing up. Ackley. Gee, the kick away is in a lot of trouble though, as we see McIntosh. Plenty of time. Puts a long ball back in front of goals. A big pack forms and a big punch away there from the Victorian defence. Sees it go out of bounds for a ball in. Well, South Australia attacking now as well they must. First state game under lights here in South Australia. Madden again doing fine work. Platten for the Crow Eaters completely missed the ball on that occasion. Finally, it's Jim Buckley. Certainly covering a lot of ground this evening. The kick away not good. McIntosh, oh, he let it go. Called out. Down goes Robson. In comes McKinnon, the handball to Craig. Back to McIntosh. Oh, the kick under pressure. Bruce Dool making a lot of yards out on the outer side of the ground. He's got another Victorian out there in Doug Hawkins. The handball was good. Doug Hawkins clears the ball and finds Peter Moore.
Moore gets a lead from Tuck, but he's going back to kick long. He'll get a handball across to Hawkins. No, he doesn't. Further across it comes now to Kennedy. Kennedy caught. Called to play on. But umpire said no, holding the ball. Umpire Laurie Argent has given the free kick to Craig Bradley of South Australia on the half-back line. Bradley kicks long and high. Up towards Russell. Mew there as well. Thumps the ball clear. Under pressure was Ackley. Gets the ball out now to Simon Madden. He's having trouble as well picking it up. In goes Roberts. Over the top is Platten. And the umpire will bounce the ball on South Australia's half-forward left flank. The Vics by 14 points. Almost, or just over 11 minutes into the second quarter. Johnson and Madden taken away there by Victoria's boss to Dool. Dool high towards centre wing. Anderson looking for it. Up over the top came Bradley. And Bradley's either been paid the mark or the free, whatever. A push it was. And he's got the free kick centre wing outer side. Bradley short. Into the pocket is good football. Craig clear. Steadies 55 metres out. Puts it up in the air. Motley at the back of the pack. It's a magnificent mark. Oh, what a catch. The crowd are up. Peter Motley over the top of Ackley and pulled down the mark of the evening. 5 metres out. Right in front. South Australia need a goal. Down by 14. Kick number 2, Peter Motley. That's a goal. Centre bounce. Healy on the ball. Johnson's tap away. Going through, soccering it away was Buckley. Umpire James in the road. Getting back on it, Anderson. With him in there appears to be Ackley, is it? Let's have a look. Or let's have a look at his number. It's Johnson, or is it Gerard Healy? Coach Neil Curley. Got an 8-point deficit. Bounce down, half forward right flank. Johnson, Leslie, Moore, Nailey taps clear. Healy back to Dacos. Dacos short in to Tuck. He's on the half forward line. The Vics to go into attack.
Tuck a little bit quiet of late. He let Craig go uncontested a little while ago. Oh, over the top. The South Australian defence under pressure. McKinnon is outpaced. Robin White comes in as well. Out goes McKinnon, very close to the line, and we'll see a ball in. I think the Victorian player there may have been Dennis Carroll. Even the Vics are pretty hard to pick up in the Victorian Guernseys. I was going to say good work, Peter Moore, but it wasn't according to umpire James. He was right on the spot. The free kick goes to Max Parker. Parker clears for the Crow Eaters. In front, Tuck trying to mark from behind Dwayne Russell. Not the percentage sort of thing to do. Michael Tuck gets a kick away, and it's a good one. Peter Moore. Wayne Johnson, haven't seen much of him this evening. A beautiful kick though to Paul Salmon. I guess Wayne Johnson doesn't need a lot of kicks. He's an opportunist. In fact, he's had 5, so he's done reasonably well so far. Big Paul Salmon. I think we might have a cup of coffee while we wait for this one. 5 kicks, Paul Salmon. Gee, I'm glad he kicks goals. Certainly takes a long time. Through it goes. 3 goals, Paul Salmon. Victoria 7-4, South Australia 5-2.
Once again, the good team play of Victoria. You see Tuck get the kick away, but look at the shepherding there to stop the South Australian White getting at the ball, and the handball was like lightning. The pressure went on, but he was still good enough to chip across to Salmon. A fine pass, Robert Odie.
South Australia perhaps having a little bit of trouble at centre-half forward. Their height disadvantage. Dwayne Russell's gone for 3 or 4 marks. In a club match, he'd normally take them, but he's overstretching this evening. He's having a bit of strife there. Back to you, Ian.
Madden for Victoria got the kick away. South Australia rebound, they're into attack. McIntosh couldn't burst the pack, and umpire James said, I'll have a bounce. Gee, applied the tackle very quick to David Ackley. Remembering, of course, that all players out there played in club rounds on Saturday, and of course the Swans and the Richmond players played in Sydney yesterday. They'd be pretty tired, but they're professionals. McIntosh got it out to Anderson. Bradley into attack. Oh, big leap there. No mark. Umpire James says play it on. Down goes Roberts, holding the ball. Umpire James right on the spot. Appears to be Pert for Victoria. He clears out. A wobbly old kick though. Robin White ran past the ball, couldn't get near it. Victoria will clear. The handball comes out to Buckley. Underneath the ball, Ollie Robson couldn't take the mark. Wayne Johnson ran through half forward, but the kick is not right. It is. To do battle with Simon Madden. He's been on the ball all evening. Bradley through the centre. The kick is to half forward. Up goes Motley. Couldn't take the mark. Fighting hard for it now on the ground. Umpire Argent comes in for a bounce.
Crowd yelling for hanging on to Peter Motley. Victoria by 20 points. Bounce down, half forward line for South Australia. Kernahan in ruck against Madden. Wilson went through, didn't have the football. Tuck fighting for it. In goes Victoria's boss. Dacos there. Two is Johnston. A bounce down, similar spot. Kernahan again. This time he gets the thump to Nailey. Nowhere to go. McIntosh against Tuck. Wilson, a line ball. McIntosh trying to bulldoze his way out. And the umpire calls for another bounce. Hard work for South Australia in attack. Almost 18 minutes gone. Victoria by 20 points. Kernahan got up high, but it was Madden's tap away. Out towards Anderson, spun out of trouble, gives it to Bradley. Bradley in turn, Nailey. Nailey out wider still. Wayne Russell puts it in the air. All Victoria, no South Australia at all. And Gary Pert takes the easy defensive mark.
Pert, nice looking player. He has to go back. Is that a point? Or does he get another kick? I think he might get 15 metres as well. No, another kick. That's pretty hard to follow. The kick away from Pert. Big pack forms, no mark. Down it comes towards Platten. He's a terrier. In goes Motley. The Victorians, oh, I thought they were going to clear it through Johnson, but it's McIntosh. He bursts through the pack. Neil Craig puts the ball on the way, but it's just offline. A point. And young McIntosh for South Australia playing extremely well, doing a lot of hard work.
Peter, what a bullocker. As you say, doing the hard work. Short into the pocket. Ackerley elects to clear, or coming back towards centre now. On the lead there is Watson. Easy mark in front of Giles, but he's at centre half back. Out wide is Johnson. All loose man for Victoria here. Here's a go Victoria now as Johnson comes over centre wing onto the lead of Moore, and that's beautifully put. Peter Moore, half forward left flank. Going wide. Getting under it is Healy. Can't quite get there. Now he's got the football. Gives it away, but a poor handball. Platten for South Australia. Anderson wants it. McIntosh gets it. Back to Platten in the double play. Over the centre line go the Crow Eaters, now high up. Kernahan getting back on him as well. There is Pert. Also for Victoria is Boss. And he takes the ball through South Australia's line for a point. Robert Odie.
South Australia having a little bit of trouble up in that full forward area. Stephen Kernahan is going out and doing the ruck work at half forward, and as a result Victoria leaving 2 for 1 back in the goal square, and they're rebounding from there consistently now. Back to you, boys.
Pert's kick is going to go out without being touched, I fear, and Craig Bradley, the South Australian centreman, will take the kick back in. Also played cricket for the under-21 Australian side, Craig Bradley, late last year. May have cost him a Magarey medal. Redden kicks it back to centre half forward. Kernahan coming in late. Oh, big mark from behind. The big chap's got it. And he is a top-class player, Stephen Kernahan. That was his ball all the way. Superb marker of the ball, and he took more marks in Australian football than any other player last year. This will be his 3rd kick. Getting plenty of distance, but distance may cost him accuracy. No, coming back. Kernahan, 3 goals. Peter Moore now in ruck for Victoria. He started at centre half forward. Redden got the tap down. Moore roved it though. Is he a rover or a ruckman? Probably both. Trying to get underneath the ball there for South Australia was Martin Leslie. Couldn't do it. Dacos didn't keep it in play, and we'll see a ball in. Peter Dacos, a real opportunist, as we've mentioned, doesn't need many touches. Martin Leslie trying to do the job on Gerard Healy. Healy is also a player capable of kicking 20 goals if you give him the latitude. Out it comes to Dacos. cover a lot of ground in a short time. Dacos, kick number 7. Salmon behind, too tall. Enough said, too tall.
Peter Max Parker did everything right. Came to meet the ball, leapt, but suddenly he was fought short by about 1.5 feet.
Coffee break again as Paul Salmon thinks about the kick. It's no criticism, by the way. If he kicks the goals, he can take as long as he likes. Lines them up, and that's a shocker. That is just a point. And the Victorian side are now 8-5 to South Australia 6-4.
First time he's been offline this evening, trying to get that extra distance with a drop punt. Makes it a little difficult. Phillips to kick in, looking a lot finer than when we saw him play football in South Australia. Up towards Redden at the back of the pack. Robson tried to get a handball out, quickly smothered by Victoria's Carroll, and the umpire will come and bounce half forward left flank. Victoria by 13 points. Moore comes across. He's come out from goal, and the umpire will call for another bounce. Salmon out on the half forward left flank at the moment.
Simon Madden at full forward end.
Thank you, Peter. Salmon against Redden. Wilson through. Platten, tuck. Wilson again, South Australia's Martin Leslie, and the umpire will ball it up once more.
Approaching the full time here in the second quarter, and it's been a good one. Victoria have kicked 5, South Australia 3. The game's still pretty tight. Paul Salmon in ruck. Parker followed him out. Got the tap down. Beautiful handball away. Healy, Johnston, superb kick, Dacos. It found him right on the boundary line. Don't know if Dacos will back his judgment from this one. He's probably a good 45 metres from goal. The angle is evident. Dacos with kick number 8. Beautiful kick. Gee, I think he's going to spear that one through. What a superb kick for goal. Dacos has 2 now. Victoria 9-5, South Australia 6-4.
Well, there we saw exhibited the skill of 2 brilliant players. Didn't go back far enough to the pass that was put out by Johnson, but Dacos's kick is a magnificent one, just shaved the woodwork. A goal to Victoria. They lead 9-5 to 6-4.
Wayne Johnson is cutting South Australia apart through that half-forward line now, and he's a top player. We all know that. Redden puts it down, looking for Dwayne Russell. Couldn't find that player. Through Dwayne Russell's legs. Out it goes. Big Paul Salmon got the kick away, only as far as Robson, and he'll play it on. Gee, he wants Craig. Craig's going to suffer from height, but once it goes to the ground, he's a bit better off. A trip, according to umpire Laurie Argent. I don't know. Sometimes players fall over, and sometimes they're pushed, sometimes they're tripped. Neil Craig puts it back to centre half forward. Big Kernahan goes up in the middle of the pack, never got off the ground, in fact. Kicking away for Victoria, Mark Boss. Good mark there, Dacos. A long way down from his forward spot. Plays it on. Very casual. Too casual, in fact. Down goes Redden. And the umpire will bounce. Centre wing as we approach full time. 19 points in it in favour of Victoria. Redden against Salmon. Salmon got the knockdown. Robin White, the back pocket player, got the handball clear. Dacos couldn't pick it up. Bradley got it out beautifully. South Australia into attack. Superb kick there on the run by Grant Filkey. He's now on the ground. And Neville Roberts took the mark again in front of Bruce Dool. Well, you can't stop those. No criticism at all of Bruce Dool. This will be Roberts' 3rd kick. He's got 2 goals. I think I might even back him in for this one. It's a long way out. 55 metres. Roberts puts kick on the way. Now it's falling short in the square. The big leap on Kernahan. Off the ground. It's a goal. Victoria out of the centre. That looked like Healy. I think he might be playing in the middle at the moment. Dacos again is caught. The handball is stolen by Robson. Can't break the tackle. The handball clear, not good. It's tapped out to Tuck. Oh, the handball out was superb to Jim Buckley. Short to Madden. Punched away by Parker. A free kick to South Australian player there and Leslie for a high tackle.
Leslie at centre half back gets a lead out wide now from South Australia's Bradley. That's the direction he takes. Right there with him is Tuck. Bradley too strong. Anderson going past for the handball. Bradley likes to play on, but the umpire has awarded a 15-metre. Gee, 15 metres is close to 30 in Victoria. Up towards the half-forward line. Vacant ball. Dool beautifully read. Has to give the handball away. Redden under pressure. Victoria with Bosch on top of the football will get a bounce down South Australia's half-forward line. 9-5 Victoria, 7-4 South Australia. Close to half-time here at Footy Park in the big interstate clash. Redden taps away. The umpire has seen a free going to South Australian ruckman. Redden inside the centre square. Slips it out. Bradley runs himself into trouble. Out of trouble now. You watch him go. Bradley settles, puts it up in the air. Not a good kick. And coming across and taking the easy mark is Kennedy. In turn, Ackley. Ackley out wide. One-on-one out there. Anderson with Hawkins. The umpire allows it to play on. Craig for South Australia. Redden in the middle. Leslie there as well. What's Leslie doing up at centre half forward for South Australia? He's from the half back line. He's got it. 50 metres out. It will be a good kick to make the grade. Kernahan wants it in high. Not confident of making the distance. Kernahan leads. Thumped away by Salmon, however. Coming through strongly for Victoria was Boss. Roberts over the top. Ackley and Tuck. And the umpire will come in and bounce 25 metres out from the South Australian goal. Close to the big interval.
Well, the tackling is tight from both sides and the standard pretty good for a night game. Up goes Salmon, still in ruck. The handball comes clear out to Bradley. Through it goes. Oh, great kick away there from Bradley.
I don't think he's paid it, Peter. I think he's paid a free kick.
That's right.
And I think he's paid a throw against Bradley. And do you think the crowd's happy with that one?
Well, the Victorians clear it. Underneath the ball, Giles. Punching away, though, is Robin White. Victoria cleared again through Johnston. Lee Robson got a bad bounce. Peter Moore's got the ball now. Kick on the way. Was a daisy cutter of a pass. Not to good effect, though. Oh, swung out of the tackle very well. Timmy Watson, the kick's on the way. That's a good one. Here's a goal coming up for the Vics. The siren's gone. No score, the Victorians. That's it at half-time. South Australia 7-4, Victoria 9-5. It's been a great quarter of football. Victoria have kicked 6 goals, 2 in this quarter to South Australia 4-2. The crowd still booing. They wanted a goal for South Australia up the other end, but then Victoria had a lot of bad luck. The siren went before Gerard Healy could get his kick away, and that's it at half-time here at Football Park with the scoreline. Victoria 9-5, South Australia 7-4.
It took South Australia 18 years to repeat its 1965 hometown victory over Victoria, and the margin was again close to 10 goals. In front of 42,000 partisan fans at Football Park in May 1983, South Australia, under the coaching of Bob Hammond, thrashed David Parkin's Victorians. Linda, with 5 goals and H in the centre, were outstanding for the home team, while Victorian captain Robbie Flower was one of the few winners for the big lead. Tonight, South Australia are looking for 2 in a row, and you're with them on 7 Sport.
Welcome back to Football Park in Adelaide. Half-time sees Victoria in front by 13 points. Recapping the scores, Victoria so far have kicked 9 goals, 5, 59 points to South Australia, 7 goals, 4, 46 points. Well, even though we're in Adelaide tonight, we couldn't let this auspicious occasion pass without Palmer's punchlines.
Good evening. Welcome to a special interstate edition of Punchlines. Last week I disclosed that Collingwood was about ready to pounce on another giant, and it's true. He's an Olympic basketballer, Ray Borner, all 6 foot 10 inches of him. And now they're looking for another basket man in Tasmania who is even taller. Borner has held talks with the Pies and said he'll be joining the club after the Los Angeles Games. About 10 years ago, our Bob Davis suggested to Geelong that it go to America and find basketballers who could play in the ruck for the VFL. Now the clubs are doing it from their own backyard. Talking of Geelong, they are sure to suggest to the league's emergency meeting on Thursday that the Cats push for regular Sunday games at Cardinia Park. The Cats said it would suit all local competitions to have Saturdays to themselves, as well as the neighbouring country leagues. and the Cockies from the Western District could then motor into Geelong to watch the Cats at their leisure. Rover Darryl Vernon has quit the Sydney Swans. He's a loss, but apparently couldn't come to terms with the idea of not getting a regular game in the seniors. Vernon, who came from Richmond, is a signwriter in Sydney and will now play for a local league. And watch Mark Nailey out there at Football Park tonight. The Swans have offered up big Trevor Musty in an attempt to get South Adelaide to clear him this week or next. West Adelaide have made a strong bid to entice Mark Wiedemann home, and full forward Tony Russell also has had interstate clubs interested. But Collingwood Match Committee have met and said no dice. Mark Jackson threatened to wear a dress in his next match, and the ladies at Geelong might get a clue on his styles tomorrow night. Would you believe Mark is guest speaker at a hens night and fashion parade at the club? But while he's looking at minis and maxis, I found one footballer this week concentrating on the set of his shoulders. This mighty man with biceps measuring 20 inches, a chest of 52, and with strength to toss around weights of 350 pounds or more, is actually a footballer. And one with a brilliant pedigree. Recognise the family resemblance? His name is Adrian Kink, the 22-year-old little brother of the incredible Holt, Rene Kink, who for 3 years has been battling to overcome injuries and forge for himself a league career. About 12 months ago, the 6'3" giant discovered bodybuilding. It was to strengthen his limbs for football. But look what's happened. The Collingwood under-19 and reserve player could be a future entrant in the Mr. Melbourne, or why not Mr. Australia contest. He will decide where his sports future lies at the end of the year. Meanwhile, he'll continue to work out at Muscle Australia Gymnasium in Collingwood, not far from Victoria Park. Magpie coach John Cale hasn't seen him for a while. He'll be as shocked as I was. What a mountain of a halfback is Adrian Kink. Apart from all that, he's a fine young man. I wish him all the best. Good night. Keep punching.
Flickering footage of one of the most famous incidents in football history. Victoria's John Peck was suspended for 2 matches for striking South Australia's Brian Sawley at Adelaide Oval back in July 1963. Peck claimed that Sawley had kicked him, and he was merely retaliating. The South Australian tribunal disagreed. 21 years later, we're back at Adelaide, on the spot for this interstate showdown, live and exclusive to 7 Sport.
Thanks to Scott Palmer and welcome back to Football Park in Adelaide. We've just heard that we've got a magnificent crowd in the stadium here, and something like 15,000 people have been turned away from the gates to see the magnificent clash, the first under lights between South Australia and Victoria. For their views of the first half, let's now cross to Ian Day and Peter Marker.
Unbelievable, Rick. Yes, 50,000 people in the stadium, 15,000 couldn't get in. Peter, South Australia looking just a little more fragile than Victoria at the moment.
Just a fraction, I think, Ian, although they looked very fragile in the first 10 minutes. They fought back well. I think their tackling is a lot better now, and they certainly they stemmed the tide of the Victorians. I don't think there's a great deal in it. I think perhaps the Victorian running players are doing just a little bit more for Victoria than South Australians are. If you look at Dacos, Wayne Johnston, Michael Tuck, Jim Buckley's playing well. Gary Wilson's getting a couple of touches as well. I think they're doing just a fraction more than the South Australian counterparts.
Gee, Peter, it's hard to pick up where the Victorians are playing their players. They seem to be swapping them all over the place.
Well, I hope they don't know either. Then they might get confused. But the forward setups are interesting. Kernahan's got 4 from 4 kicks. Roberts has got 2 on Bruce Doyle. Up the other end, Salmon's got 3. But I just feel that those running players of Victoria through that half forward line, Healy's another one of them, they look a little bit dangerous to me. I think I'd lose sleep over those guys.
Those comments by former state captain Peter Marker, and now it's to Laurie Wilson in the 7 newsroom.
Felt following last night's tragic road accident in which 6 people died at Jerilderie. The New South Wales Parliament prepares to decriminalise homosexuality. The National Farmers Federation lashes out at the federal government's Aboriginal land rights policy, and Premier Kane moves to defuse the hospitals crisis. While from Washington, the news that President Reagan won't intervene to try to convince the Soviets to take part in the Los Angeles Olympics. Join me for those stories in News World later tonight, and right after this break, though, we'll be crossing back live to Football Park in Adelaide.
Victorians have grown accustomed to watching South Australian interstate clashes live on 7. It's been 13 years since the VFL have played host to South Australia. The last time was on the MCG back in 1971, and 3 of the stars for the Big V are still in action. Lee Matthews and Gary Dempsey have both played more than 300 games, and dual Brownlow medalist Keith Gregg was named in the Victorian squad to play in tonight's game. Interstate action, a specialty of 7 Sport, tonight coming to you live from Football Park in Adelaide.
And welcome back to Football Park. Just recapping the quarter-by-quarter scores to date. After the first quarter, we saw Victoria in front by 1 point. They kicked 3 goals, 3 in the first quarter to South Australia's 3 goals, 2. Then at half-time, we saw the scoreline, Victoria by 13 points. They'd kicked 9 goals, 5, 59 points to South Australia's 7 goals, 4, 46 points. Just checking the stats for the first half of the game. In the kicks department, well, Victoria have won that department easily. 87 kicks to South Australia's 78. Marks, 27 for Victoria, 20 to South Australia. Handballs, well, SA have had more handballs, 36 to 31. Frees, well, the South Australian crowd should be happy with this department. 19 frees for SA and 12 for Victoria, while rucks 1 out of centre. Victoria have taken away 5 to South Australia's 4. Robert, it's certainly been a very interesting game, and as predicted before the game, the height of Victoria at the moment is causing us a few problems.
I think it is, particularly across half forward. Rick, the big fellow Stephen Kernahan, as we just made a mention during the call in the second quarter, he's having to come out to that half forward line to contest the ruck bounces, and when he comes out there, South Australia only have Neville Roberts back in the goal square, and he's got Bruce Stool and Gary Pert to contest against, and he's not able to do that. Dwayne Russell's height, a little bit against him at centre half forward. He's a beautiful mark in club matches, but not able to perhaps take that big mark in this interstate company. But on the other hand, Jim Buckley, I think, has done a very good job for Victoria. The Carlton champ, he's certainly a very smooth-moving player. We remember him from a few years ago when he came across to Adelaide in a night series and played on the Nord Oval as a 16-year-old, and he's certainly a very efficient player at the moment, Rick.
And looking towards Victoria, they've been playing in that first half Madden back a bit in defence, and often that's setting up the loose man from Victorian defence, and when South Australia are driving up that way, the loose man's causing problems for us.
They certainly are. The half forward line and the forward pocket players for Victoria are often running down the ground to the centre of the ground, and Johnston on that quarter in particular read a couple of nice balls off hands and was able to get a couple of good kicks into the half forward line and get it over the top of the South Australian defence, and that gave Victoria the opportunity. In that last one, of course, when Gerard Healy, that mark was taken before the siren, the umpire, but he decided to play on and slipped over in the process, and that would have been a very good goal for Victoria to have scored.
Yes, we would have put them something like 3 goals in front. Of course, South Australia just moments before being unlucky to have been given a free kick there. Just looking at some of the best players, I thought for South Australia, Giles at centre half back is being creative and also setting up a lot of attacks.
Yes, Giles, Phillips and Leslie have done a pretty good job in that defence. Phillips in the first quarter, in the first part of the first quarter. Peter Moore played a terrific opening. He contested every ball very well as it came into attack for Victoria. But then I thought Greg Phillips asserted himself. He contested very strongly, giving away a lot of inches to the big fellow. And the other thing up forward also is that Big Salmon's was used in the ruck in the latter part of that quarter, and due to injuries, obviously, Victoria have only bought the 2 big fellows. Now, I'm sure they would like to leave Salmon at full forward all the time, but they've had to give Simon Madden a rest in that full forward in the last 10 minutes of that second quarter.
Do you think maybe South Australia worried about the lack of height they are giving away to Victoria? A lot of time we're seeing the ball flying in, we're seeing 3 or 4 South Australians go up for the ball, with it, say, against 2 Victorians, and that's leaving the Victorians loose men to pick up the crumbs.
Yes, well, they've done it a few times, but they're not that far in front. I think Victoria are doing that no better than South Australia. In fact, I think Bradley's picked up a couple of good kicks. Craig's done a couple of good plays. Platten on the ball, he's moved very well around the packs, and he also has done a pretty good job. So I wouldn't think Victoria are that much in front in that department. They've just got a little bit more finesse when South Australia make the error. I think the goals that they've scored and put them in front a little bit have been a result of perhaps a little bit of pressure the Victorians have put on, a loose ball's flown out, and the Victorians have just shown a fraction more finesse as they've gone into the forward line to enable themselves to get that couple of easy goals.
But really, we talk about pressure. Both sides have got a lot of commitment to the Guernsey tonight. There's a lot on this game, but the pressure from both sides really has been very good, and even though Victoria are in front, there's really not a lot in the game.
There's not. There's down here at ground level, it's a different game altogether than when we sit in the grandstand on Saturday afternoons, Rick, and you can see the absolute pace. And of course, you're talking about 40 or 42 of the best footballers in Australia. The South Australian lads, the 20 best South Australians, of course, are very, very good players, just as the Victorians are. And I'm sure that we're seeing absolute pace at its best here this evening, and their ability to handle the ball quickly, to get rid of it quickly, is paramount in these interstate competitions. And of course, these lads are not letting the big crowd down here this evening.
Of course, looking at conditions, they've been almost perfect for night football. I don't think we've seen many errors, and really we've had just a couple of drops of rain, but hopefully it'll stay away and we should see a great second half.
Yes, the weather forecast was that it was going to become quite clear during the night, perhaps get a bit fresh down here. And I noticed just as we're finishing this summary that Lee Robson's coming off for South Australia with Mick Redden, so probably we'll pick up the changes for you, but it wouldn't surprise me to see John Schneebichler come on and have a run this quarter. But nevertheless, South Australia have made one change, and Russell Johnston will be back into the ruck against big Simon Madden for Victoria. And what a great duel is, and that Simon Madden's playing a wonderful game. He started off the match in great form.
Thanks, Robert. Well, for our call of the second half, we'll now go to our commentators again, Ian Day and Peter Marker.
Thank you, Rick. 9-5 Victoria, South Australia 7-4. The second half underway in the big one. Madden gets the benefit of that one. Getting up high, however, was Redden. Johnson in there for South Australia. Madden fires the ball to the half-forward line. Loose ball there. Dacos can't pull it down. Robin White back in defence for the Crow-Eaters. Working the ball towards the line. Seeks the help now of Parker. Out longer still off. Filkey taps the ball. Danger here. Nailey in for South Australia. Picked up there by Watson, but the free kick will go, fortunately, to South Australia, to Mark Nailey. Nailey on the half-back line, plus his 15 metres. Kick number 6 coming up to the half-forward line over on the outer side. Oh, big leap taken by Dwayne Russell. That's more the style that we know he can play. Bradley puts South Australia into attack up towards Kernahan. Kernahan there. Pert thumps the ball away. First recover, Kernahan threw out the handball. Robert hasn't got the football, holding the man. Worked hard for the ball, tried to crash his way through the pack. Didn't have the ball, and umpire James has given Neville Roberts a free kick 35, 40 metres out from the South Australian goal. Almost head on. Roberts has 2, both in the first quarter. As Peter has told you, a very accurate kick. McIntosh leads into the pocket. Roberts going for home. Oh, awkward looking kick, touch and go. Marked right on the last line. Good mark by Pert, I think it is. Let's have a look at him. Coming away for Victoria. Short, looking for Wilson. Out of play. No. It was ruled that Schneebichler was going to get a penalty free kick. Schneebichler. Well, paid the mark. Schneebichler short to the lead of Roberts. He's got another charge. Beautifully done, John Schneebichler. An interchange player came on at the long interval. Have a look at this for a pass. Beautifully done. Dool right with him, but couldn't manage to thump the ball clear.
Neville Roberts not kicking quite as well this evening as we've seen, Ian, and he's moved around on his mark a bit. He's halved the angle, and distance won't provide a problem for him.
The angle is evident. As Peter's told you, the last 2 have wobbled. Well, that one's going to wobble offline as well. 1 point South Australia, missing a couple of opportunities. Robert Odie.
Well, Tony Giles has come off for South Australia at half-time, and has a knee injury. He's on crutches at the moment, and Peter Motley's gone back to the half-back flank, and John Schneebichler to half-forward.
Thank you, Robert. Bad luck too, because Giles playing well for South Australia. Robin White comes through the centre. Dwayne Russell has to get the handball out beautifully to Motley. Motley looks for Kernahan, but the big chap fell over. All through comes Schneebichler. Couldn't pick the ball up, and the Victorians momentarily out of trouble through Ackley. Looking for Mew. Got the kick away, centre wing. Up they go. Johnston couldn't take the mark. The tackle's on, I think, umpire Laurie Argent. No, he was going to pull it up. Now he pays the free kick. It's against Nailey, a push in the back in favour of Michael Tuck. Tuck, one of the Victorian run-on players. That's kick number 8. He's always pretty high in possessions, Michael Tuck. That was a handball to the line from Gerard Healy, and we will see a ball in. Right half-forward flank for the Victorians. Big Russell Johnston still on the ball for South Australia. For Victoria will be Peter Moore, and certainly he has worked very hard this evening. Timmy Watson played for the free kick. It didn't come. The ball came out. Greg Phillips. Phillips hooks it short. Looking for Motley. Finds that player. As Robert Odie said, Motley now playing at half-back. Here's the run. Mark Nailey uses the left boot. Kernahan on a lead. Oh, Schneebichler came across. Right across the front of the pack. Kernahan's hurt. That's a danger ball when you fly across like that. Kernahan hurt. He's grabbing the thigh, but Steve Bickler has the ball. Platten plays short for him. Steve Bickler can kick a long ball. That's a gigantic kick. 60 metres. Up they go. Roberts, 2 grabs, couldn't mark the ball. Victoria clear it away. Not a good kick. Bradley couldn't take the mark. That's McIntosh. A good player for South Australia. Bradley very quickly. Kernahan. Oh, Platten. Reading the ball going the wrong way. Took a clever little mark. Kernahan looks a little bit sore for the Croatians at the moment. Johnny Platt. Gee, if you wanted to stop Platten, pull his hair, I think. Terrible kick. Out of bounds on the full. Gee, South Australians in, not kicking well at the moment for goal.
Agreed, Peter. Kernahan looking a little proppy, as Peter told you, as Carroll kicks out. The running player out there is Watson, and look at him go now. Roberts can't catch him. Oh, he's lost the football. Well shepherded. Watson over the centre line now. Goes for the half-forward line. Back there is Anderson. Leslie for South Australia. Kicks out wide towards centre wing. Out there a good mark, Johnson against Carroll. Johnson almost on the half-back line for South Australia. Goes in short to Craig. Dool up over the top, thumps away. Madden in turn, Johnson. Victoria into attack again, looking for Dacos in the pocket. White gets his hands to the ball, and Dacos comes up just a little proppy. Doesn't look good for Victoria. 9-5 the Vic, 7-5 South Australia.
5 minutes into this third quarter, or approaching the 6-minute mark. 12 is Russell Johnson for South Australia. 24 Peter Moore for Victoria. Phillips from behind, gets up very high, swings it out wide to Leslie. Leslie a quick kick away. Robin White out of position. Jim Buckley rows it beautifully. Over to Wilson. He gets smashed going the wrong way. Victoria go in again. Oh, not a good kick forward. It's going to roll through though. The umpires have a chat to each other. It's a goal. Hawkins, who was over on that side of the ground, got the wobbly kick forward. Bradley tries to clear for South Australia, eventually does. McIntosh through half forward. The handball goes out. Naily onto the left boot. A shocking kick out on the full. Well, there's the difference. Doug Hawkins kicked a superb goal a little while ago. South Australia can't get near the big sticks. Out, we'll see a ball in, left half forward flank for South Australia. Well, I don't know so much the Victorians applying pressure up there. It's not. South Australia have had the ball in the clear and just can't convert. Very costly. Madden got it down to Gerard Healy. The kick away not good. Anderson, very quick kick away. Roberts in front again. He's got it again. Well, Bruce. He shakes his head in disbelief. Rarely has a forward marked so often and so clearly against Bruce Dool. 5 marks, Roberts. He's had 6 kicks and he hasn't kicked well. He's only got 2 goals. He'd normally have 6 from 6 shots. Bruce Dool, a legend. Oh, Roberts' kick not good. Gee, I've never seen him kick that poorly. Off the ground again, Kernahan. Oh, well, if you can't mark him, he'll kick them off the ground. 5 goals, Kernahan. South Australia 8-5, Victoria 10-5.
Well done, Stephen Kernahan. Gee, value for kicks. He's only had 5 and every one of them have been goals, and I think he's only picked up 3 of them. The other 2 he've socked off the ground. Have a look at this one now. Swift thinking by the big fellow in front of Naily, and South Australia have got a much-needed 8th goal.
Well, the Croatians are attacking, but not to a great deal of advantage in this quarter so far. Johnson up high, got the tap down. He wanted Platten. In came McIntosh. What a terrier he is. Watch this man go, Anderson. A big kick. Kernahan getting over to the ball, offhand.
MAD, I think, Peter. Free after disposal.
Thank you, Ian. Kernahan will take the free kick. The Victorian backmen are not happy. Pert is saying, what on earth was that for? Glenn James is telling them all about it. Gee, how would Pert feel? 5 minutes or 10 minutes into the third quarter, and his opponent has got 5 goals. Kernahan, if he kicks this goal, will have kicked more goals by a South Australian against Victoria at Football Park than any other player. Doesn't normally miss. That's 6, Kernahan. South Australia. Russell Johnson back in the centre, couldn't get the tap down. He tries to rove his own. Good work though. In goes Motley, and umpire James will come in for a bounce. One thing about Glenn James, if he sees something, he will pay a free kick, irrespective of where it is and who's involved. Smashing it forward for South Australia there, Leslie. Running past the ball was Anderson. The handball comes out. Patton kicks over the head. I was going to say he didn't look. He couldn't look. Mark Boss took the mark and plays it on. Uses the left boot to great advantage. Dacos making position. Couldn't take the mark with one hand. Peter Moore out to Simon Madden. Madden will hook around the body. He saw that player out of the corner of his eyes. It's Dacos. Has he been paid the mark? Yes, it was just in the line. Dacos wants to play on. Kick number 10 for the champion Collingwood player. Lines them up. Does not miss. 2 goals, Dacos. Victoria 11-5, South Australia 9-5.
Well, Peter, if you've ever seen anything so easy in all your life, just a brilliant solo performance. And what a good effort from Vic Madden to hook the ball, Madden to hook the ball around to Dacos. But he just waltzed around the South Australian defence. You thought they'd all gone home. He got round, quickly around South Australia's Filkey, touched it once, no pressure put on him at all. Victoria 11-5, South Australia 9-5.
In fact, that was the 3rd goal to Peter Dacos, and is causing problems for the South Australian defence. Anderson hasn't got into the game yet for South Australia. He's a youngster, just turned 18. Victoria will run it out on this occasion through Doug Hawkins. Now at half forward. Leslie should have taken the mark, didn't. Buckley over in turn to Timmy Watson on a sharp angle. He is run out of the stadium almost as he puts on a 1-pointer. Victoria 11-6, South Australia 9-5.
The Victorian forwards doing better than South Australia. They're so more open. Motley, good mark. Anderson out wide. McIntosh running. Anderson clear now. South Australia into attack through Bradley. Bradley caught on the left leg. Going to give it out wide. Making a metre is the Bickler. He's got to go as well. Hooks around the corner in towards full forward. Roberts! Oh, Bruce Dool can't find him. Probably one of the best defenders in Australia. Bruce Dool having a torrid time against Neville Roberts. And Roberts has got another opportunity. 25 metres right out in front.
Gee, and the pressure is on him because his last 3 kicks at goal have been very much below standard for Neville Roberts.
South Australia missed 4. Roberts kick underway. It's an awkward looking kick again, but it's successful. 3 goals. To Buckley into the half forward line. Big Salmon wants backup support. He missed Buckley. Platten inside the half back line, heaves it back towards centre wing. Coming across the top is Boss. Oh, the handball out is wild. Not good at all as South Australia through Filkey. Go back up towards Russell. Thumped away. Quickly in is Hawkins. Unloaded. Out towards centre wing Anderson. Bradley again. The flyer's off. Caught on the left leg. Sets it up Craig. Half forward line. Doesn't know where to go. Oh, he's put his teammate in trouble. Johnson back. Fires it out to Wilson. South Australia waste an opportunity by overhand balling to Moore at the half-forward line. The big fella can't quite get there. McKinnon can. Gives it across to Leslie. Kernahan on the lead out towards that player. Dool can't get there. Kernahan, Dool, over the top is Ackley. And Kernahan goes for the safety of the line. 2 against 1. And the ball is out of play, half-forward right flank.
Well, for players that have played games in the last couple of days, the pace is really on. And you must take your hat off to all of them. It's a super contest at the moment. Madden got the ball down. It's knocked further afield. Craig missed it with the hand. Victoria run it out on that occasion through David Ackley. The hairball comes out to Wilson. The Victorian captain, he's got a space. Uses the left boot on the lead. Salmon, he's got it. Beautifully put, Wilson. Now the pressure on big Paul Salmon. His last kick at goal was atrocious. He was lucky to get a point with it. No doubt that would be in his mind. Kicked 2 in the first quarter, should I say 1. 2 in the second quarter. This will be his 7th kick. He's done a bit of ruck work as well. An unusual kicking action, but very effective. Not on that occasion though. A point. Victoria 11-7, South Australia 10-5.
Victoria making a change. Bernie Evans coming on as Phillips kicks off for South Australia. Out towards Motley. A Good leap, good mark. Motley going to the half-back flank now. Drives towards centre wing. Tuck's there. With him is Bradley. Bradley grabbed hold of Tuck. He didn't have the football. He's got it at centre wing. Bradley been pinged 15 metres. Tuck looking for more. Moore on the lead now towards the right forward pocket. He's screwing it longer. Salmon's going to get a chance. Parker there with him. Big fellow up, can't bring it down. Shooting through now for South Australia is Robin White towards the line. It's out of play on the right forward pocket. 11-7 Victoria. South Australia 10-5. Halfway through the third quarter here at Footy Park. Unbelievable sight. A packed house. Craig. A trip. And the South Australian captain gets the free kick, elects to go out wide. Phillips.
Greg Phillips marks way out in front of Dennis Carroll. He goes further afield to McKinnon. They've got a bit of a space now, the South Australian side. He wants his teammate in Filkey. Bradley's on his own. Oh, he took his eyes off the ball, Bradley. Got it back. How did he do that? Johnny Platten's got the run of it. Through half forward he goes. A big kick with the left boot. A mammoth kick and a big mark in defence by Doug Hawkins. Maybe another free kick. No, Doug Hawkins clears the ball to Wayne Johnston. Gee, that was a super mark under pressure, Hawkins. One of the few players that kept his eyes on the ball. Back comes McIntosh. Johnston's 13th kick. Played very well indeed. Phillips and Moore over the back. South Australian defenders read it well. Short to Anderson. Gee, you'd need to be 7 foot tall to mark that one. Through it comes to John Kennedy. The tackle was on. Clearing it is Doug Hawkins. Timmy Watson against Motley. Watson a little bit too much body strength on that occasion. Runs the gauntlet. Lucky not to get pinged holding the ball. Motley fighting hard for it against Gerard Healy, and umpire James will bounce it. No, he'll give a free kick to Motley for a high tackle. Well, umpire James is certainly on the spot. I haven't seen that little book of his yet tonight, though. I was looking forward to that in one way. Motley to half forward, or Salmon came in from behind. Would have given away a free kick if the mark wasn't on. Redden's got the ball for South Australia. Roberts leading again. Bruce Dool has been shifted. Dool's now at fullback. Kernahan in front. Great mark, Kernahan. Oh, I just said Bruce Dool's been shifted. Well, I suppose you've got to have a bad one from time to time, and perhaps it's Bruce Dool's evening for that sort of thing to happen. 7th kick coming up for Kernahan. He has kicked 6 goals. Gee, how about a 100% conversion rate? The kick on the way. The umpire underneath the ball. 7 goals, Kernahan. Trip.
Grant Filkey with the free kick from half-back flank to put South Australia. Oh, he's coming across field. Oh, Motley under pressure. Wilson. Could be a mistake. Big Moore. Looking for Salmon. Hooks round the corner. The big fella's getting back. Good bounce through goal. South Australian error. Clearing cost goal. Too far for Motley. And Victoria made them pay. First goal to Moore. 12-7 Victoria. 11-5 South Australia.
One of Victoria's better players this evening, and that was the mistake to go across, as it turned out. The kick needed to be a fraction lower, or not at all. Moore's kick just floated through with the extra yard it got late in its flight. Victoria 8 points in front.
Madden. Gee, has he done any work tonight? Salmon gave him a spell during that second quarter. Redden in opposition to that player at the centre bounce. Madden thump away again. Looking for it was Craig. Also in there, Johnson can't get it clear. McKinnon going in hard and getting it out now. Is Carroll bolting off. Boss. Victoria into attack again. Out comes Big Salmon. He's going to get there. Mark the ball. Phillips claimed that he touched it. The umpire not interested. And the 198-centimetre Salmon has got his opportunity 25 metres out in front. Yes, Greg, I think you were trying to fox. Didn't appear as though you got a hand to it. As we said, takes his time. Got 3 goals to show for it towards the golf course end of Football Park. Any breeze is favouring the big fellow, the tallest player on the ground. Starting to slide away. That's his 4th goal. Victoria steady at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter. 13-7 to South Australia's 11-5.
Well, the Vics are getting those goals easier than the South Australian or their South Australian counterparts, and with body strength they got that ball away, and Salmon read it beautifully, down on the knees, and he kicked his fourth. We're past 21 minutes now. Jimmy Jess getting ready for the Victorian side, and the Vics lead by 14 points.
Madden against Redden at the centre bounce. Once again, Madden gets the thump away. Up towards Buckley. Buckley centre field. Puts it in high. Salmon charges to meet it. Parker there. Salmon too tall again. At the back was Boss. Stumbles towards the goal. Getting back for South Australia is Motley. A wild kick back towards the half-back flank. Getting back there quickly is Victoria's Hawkins, but the ball beats him out of play on the half-forward right flank. Peter Moore coming across for the ruck throw-in against Redden. Almost 23 minutes gone of the third quarter. Moore towards the back. Buckley through again. Wild handball. Coming to meet it. White showed a lot of courage. Filkey hooks back towards centre wing. Getting there is Kennedy. Too strong. Takes a good mark. Half-forward right flank. Salmon on the lead. Parker there with him. Phillips thumps away. Platten back in defence. Leslie there for South Australia. Over the top comes Buckley. And umpire Argent will come in for the bounce.
The Victorian bench there, and Jimmy Jess has just replaced Simon Madden. Paul Salmon doing the ruck work. Jess way over the top, try to hook it back. Not to great effect. Filkey might get a free kick, I think. Probably do with a Panadol after that one as well. Solid tackle. He's going to swing it out to the outer side of the ground. He wants McKinnon. They both play for the Bloods here in South Australia. McKinnon will play it on. He's got another player wide. Phillips, very strong player, nearly took the mark. Is he being paid?
Paid the mark, Peter, and 15 metres. The umpire James's 15 metres is half the oval.
Well, I'd love to buy land off him. Greg Phillips screws one up to full forward. Kernahan won't get to it, or will he? Oh, how did he mark that one? Didn't appear to be near the ball, Kernahan. Two grabs. Dwayne Russell went out over in front of him. Kernahan too grabbed it, and gee, need we say it? He's had 7 kicks and he's kicked 7 goals. That sort of conversion rate, you'd have to go back to players like Peter Hudson to find conversion rates of that magnitude. Superb Kernahan, 8 goals. South Australia gets it out wide to Schneebichler. The kick with the left boot. Kernahan, it went straight through him. He was slightly off put by what was happening in front of him, and I think there's a free kick to the South Australian player there in Bradley for a push in the back. Poor old Bruce.
He went out like a rocket, Peter. I think that's what unsighted Stephen Kernahan. The angle's evident.
Bristol has his hands up. He was looking to the heavens a little while ago. He perhaps looking for divine intervention, I think. 13 kicks, Craig Bradley, and he is a star in South Australia. Lines them up. That won't score a goal. The pack forms. Off hands, Platten searching for it. Didn't handle the ball well, and we'll now see a ball in the right forward pocket for South Australia.
Only about 20 metres around. South Australia down by 8 points. Moore against Kernahan. Moore having a run on the ball. Thumped it away. Platten under pressure. Got it over now to Steve Bickler. Great tackle put on him there by Ackley, and the umpires ruled holding the ball. David Ackley from the back pocket elects to handball away. Victoria now through Buckley, back towards centre wing, going up Dacos, fine mark. Geez, Jack side of centre wing at the moment. Calling for it short was Healy, but he's going over that player with kick number 11 to the half-forward line in front. The mark will be paid to Peter Motley. Gee, he's looked a better player in defence, marking the ball superbly. Motley's kick back towards the half-forward line. Out there is Russell, fine mark. Dool in the action as well. He's at centre wing at the moment. He's covering a lot of ground. High to the half-forward line. Kernahan can't find it. The Bickler. Anderson goes in again. Taken away by McIntosh. Tries to bulldoze his way through. Can't get out. And the umpire's giving him a free kick for a high tackle. Oh, gee, a lucky one. Let's have a look at it in replay.
I think it was there, Ian.
Oh, yeah, slipped up high, Peter. And I think the transgressor was Johnson.
McIntosh lining them up with kick number 8 into the square. Kernahan up, he punched away. Nailey under the ball. Out it comes, the Victorian defenders punching away as they should. In comes McKinnon, gets rid of Buckley, the tackle's on. Out it goes, and the South Australian crowd, would you believe, want a free kick. Perhaps you can't blame them. They want to stay in this game. It's very close. 8 points. The ball in. Moore. What a tireless worker he's been. Russell kicks forward. Roberts on to 2 players. Dives on the ball. Hooks it back. Nailey onto the right boot. It won't score a goal. In fact, it's out on the full. Well, perhaps he can be excused for that one. It was a kick away under pressure.
Yes, Peter, but South Australia have had their opportunities as Mew comes clear. Or was it Pert? Yes, it was Mew right in the first place. Jim Jess, a long one to the half-forward line. Wilson's got to stand his ground. He did a bit of pushing and shoving. A free kick to South Australia, but of no event at three-quarter time here in the interstate clash. Victoria 13-7 leads South Australia 12-5.
Welcome back to Football Park. Let's just take a look at the game's history as we have progressed. After the first quarter, we saw Victoria in front by 1 point. They scored 3 goals 3 to South Australia's 3 goals 2. At half-time, Victoria led by 13 points. 9 goals 5, 59 points to South Australia 7 goals 4, 46. And now at three-quarter time, we see that South Australia has reduced that margin to 8 points. Victoria 13 goals 7, 85 points to South Australia's 12 goals 5, 77. And Stephen Kernahan's 8 goals so far in this game now makes him the leading goal kicker in any South Australian Victorian game here at Football Park. His 8 goals eclipse the previous record held by Victoria's Kevin Templeton back in 1982. Well, Robert, South Australia came back in that quarter, and I think we're in for a magnificent last quarter now if they can only just kick a little bit more accurately.
Yeah, we could be a bit biased down here, Rick, but it certainly is an exciting game, though. Victoria played very well, but South Australia in that quarter, I feel, got a little bit more around the packs. Nailey and Platten played very, very well. The switch of Motley to half-back, which was forced upon them and hasn't cost them anything at this stage, but the scene set for a very, very exciting last quarter, and the game has been a real pleaser up to now.
Should be a great last quarter. We'll take this commercial break and then come back to Football Park. Welcome back to Football Park. The crowd now gearing themselves to what should be a fantastic quarter. Checking the stats for the game so far. Kicks department, South Australia 123 to Victoria 122. Marks have been 39 to 38. The handballs, well, South Australia have had many, many more handballs. 62 to Victoria's 42. The frees 26 for our local side to Victoria 17. And the rucks one out of centre have been 10 to Victoria and 7 to South Australia. Robert, the handball department, South Australia have had 62, but often they've been under pressure when giving those handballs and they've made errors.
Occasionally, but I think it's also opened up the game a lot more in that third quarter for them. Victoria obviously relying on their big man strength a great deal more than South Australia.
For the call of the last quarter, Ian Day and Peter Marker.
Should be a big last quarter here at Football Park. South Australia trailing by 8 points as umpire James puts the ball down. Up goes Russell Johnson for the Crow Eaters. Jimmy Jess went through like a tank. McIntosh at centre half forward. Dwayne Russell through like a raging bull. He's got it over to Platten. Here's a go, Roberts. Players stack up again. Platten in there fighting hard. Also for Victoria is John Kennedy. And umpire James comes in to ball it up. Gee, I don't know who Jimmy Jess was aiming for in the middle, but fortunately didn't collect. Up goes Kernahan, a star for South Australia. McIntosh yet again. Out it comes, Bradley. No one home for South Australia. And the easy mark taken by Chris Mew.
Mew elects to come, or not to come grandstand side. He gets it over to Ackley. Out of the back pocket to Tuck. Bickler late on the scene. Good mark, Tuck. He's on the half-back flank at the moment. Very important, this next goal. Victoria 13-7 to South Australia 12-5. Unbelievable that these two sides both played Saturday and still showing this pace and stamina. Phillips out in front of Moore. The first to recover, Nailey. Hooks it over McKinnon. Conceding ground. Good tackle. Holding the ball, said the umpire. And the free kick will go to Wayne Johnston on the half-forward line. Salmon and Parker in the square on their lonesome. Off goes Big Salmon now. Kick number 14 to Johnson. Salmon wants it in quickly, goes up towards the big fella now. Parker, Salmon, a big leap by Moore at the back of the pack. Phillips in front. Parker gets it out. Motley under pressure. Naily for South Australia. Kicks clear short. Big Johnson's clean bowled. He's under pressure. Got the handball out. Anderson through. Craig all bottled up by 3 Victorians. Snookered. Anderson through. Up towards centre. South Australia's McKinnon can't get it out. Finally Johnson can. Pilkey out wider still was Motley going in towards the pocket. Roberts can't quite get there. The umpire's paid it. Not Roberts, it's the Bickler. Paid the mark. Umpire James. 45 metres out. Let's have a look at it. Kennedy getting back. Whether he's paid the mark or the free, I believe the mark. Bickler, 45-degree angle. South Australia down by 8 points. Bickler to the golf course end. The kick is huge, not a good looking kick, a goal. South Australia, 1 straight kick behind. Again, Kernahan. Oh, what a mark! A magnificent mark. Never gave Pert a look in, and the youngsters got it. 35 metres out, 60-degree angle, got up there, sat, waited, 1 grab. There's the angle. Kick number 10 has booted 8. Kick underway, sliding off the side of his boot for 1 point.
An amazing performance, Kernahan, from full forward. Extraordinary. Rarely in any sport do you see people rise to occasions like he does. Madden in front, didn't go for the mark. He tapped it over the back. Bernie Evans put down. McKinnon had a go at Russell Johnston. The little dominator ducks the head. He's caught. Holding the ball, they yell. Johnson got it out. Who was he aiming for? Naily fighting for the ball, and so is David Ackley. Jimmy Jess, David Ackley, down he goes. A high tackle according to Glenn James. Ackley's holding his face. A lot of people thought it was holding the ball. Perhaps it was a bit of both. He had it for an inordinately long time. The big leap at full forward, no mark taken. Robin White for South Australia clears. South Australian players everywhere. Peter Motley over to Martin Leslie. He'll have to go short. Beautifully put. Bradley. Craig. Short. Dwayne Russell. Russell will go back. He will kick long. A huge kick. Looking for Kernahan. Up he goes. He's got it. Play on, calls the umpire. Out it goes. Platt gets caught. Down he goes. And umpire Laurie Argent comes in to ball it up. McIntosh there, number 14. South Australia trail by a point. But I tell you what, they're pretty keen to win. They just past the 5-minute mark. Atmosphere is electric here at Footy Park. Caught cold on that occasion. Number 14, Mark Boss. Down he goes, and we'll see yet another bounce down.
Couldn't get rid of it. Correct decision. Bounce down, right forward pocket. In goes Boss. Kernahan thumps it away. Snabikla likewise. Loose ball. Tuck comes to meet it with Naily. Suckers off the ground. Back towards centre field. Coming to meet it more. Can't pick it up. He's lost his footing. Anderson gets it over. South Australia through Naily. Go up towards Kernahan again. Thumped away. Back through their own goal. And a point will result to South Australia. Oh, what a game of football. The scores are even, Stephen. 13-7, both teams. You can't get it any closer than that.
Gee, do you think the Victorian camp are worried about Kernahan? They've got 2 players down there every time he goes for the ball. Michael Tuck. Running for him is Wayne Johnston. Beautifully put and well marked. He's off. That is holding the ball for certain. Craig and Johnston having a little chat to each other. Neil Craig, the South Australian captain, played well. On his own is Russell Johnston. That's where it goes. South Australia on the march again. Roberts into the forward pocket area. He's got it! The South Australian crowd going berserk at the moment. Roberts has got the cramp. Gee, there's one thing I wouldn't like if I was going to have a kick for goal, and that's the cramp. It scares me.
Oh, Peter, do you think it's very hard out there? Roberts has boarded up.
Not a good sign though, Ian, because very early in the last quarter. And although there are 3 interchange players, this will be Roberts' 8th kick. He has had 7 marks. Remembering for South Australia that Tony Giles will take no further part. Roberts is in trouble. I don't know if he'll be able to kick the ball. Although it makes a lot of difference when you're holding onto that ball. You tend to feel a little bit better about things. Neville Roberts. Gee, there's a short one there in Craig. Rocky Roberts. Kick on the way. That's skewing off. A point. South Australia hit the front. 13-8. Victoria 13-7.
Peter, I think that's the first time that South Australia has been in front for the match. They got 1 point down at one stage. Kicking off his Mew to the outer side. Good pass. Oh, Madden drops the sitter. He's in the back pocket. South Australia, a few players can't raise a gallop. Boss off the half back line. High towards centre wing. Jess up there. In front of fine mark pulled down by South Australia's Wayne Russell. Russell from centre wing puts the Crow Eaters to the half-forward line. Kernahan again. Can't bring this one down. Back in defence now. The handball goes across to Johnson. In turn, Buckley. Victoria go forward up towards the half-forward line. Gary Wilson, fine mark. Low to the ground. Gary Wilson going in short. Oh, gee, it's a beautiful pass. And that has been taken by Hawkins about 10 metres out. Almost in front, and Victoria got a big chance to get back in front. You can certainly notice the difference in the yelling as South Australia and Victoria go into attack. There's almost a deathly hush. Umpire Argent forcing Hawkins around 20 metres out. You can hear the crowd's not with him. Chips away, nice shot. Victoria back in front. Huge man against Johnson at the centre bounce. Tuck waits the outcome. Madden's tap away to Tuck again. Victoria forward to the half-forward line. White there getting back on the ball for South Australia. Showed a lot of courage as Johnson was coming in quickly. Johnson undecided, or at least White undecided where to go. Thought it might have been playing on, but umpire James has given 15 metres. He's going in short to centre field. Leslie had to play on, given a from Bradley. Johnson, South Australia under pressure again now. The big fellow's got it, back to Bradley in the 1-2. High looking for it, Filkey's on his own if he can find it. He can't find it. Kernahan over the top. Filkey again, under pressure, but Victoria comes away now through Buckley. Short, Cunningham, half-back flank. Wider still Ackley. Almost marked there by Boss. South Australia again. Craig in towards the half-forward line. Roberts has got it again. Beautiful pass, still Craig. Roberts on the lead. Gee, he's led some of those Victorian players a merry dance this evening. South Australia make a change. Johnson off, Redden on. But the hopes of over 50,000 people right on number 9. As kick number 9 goes away, coming back with the boot. That's home. South Australia back in front. Roberts' third goal. 14-8 South Australia, 14-7 Victoria.
Well, the mistake was made in fact by Mark Boss. Jeff Cunningham, haven't seen a great deal of him. Here was the mistake. The mark was dropped, should have been taken, and the superb pass. Roberts into the open space. The rest was history.
South Australia by 1 point. Redden has to go against Tuck. The big fellow's got it. Redden and Johnson. Johnson at the bottom of the pack. A free kick, Victoria. Wayne Johnson, who's been swung onto the ball to kick the Vicks into attack. Big Salmon on the lead now, going towards that player out in front of Parker. Salmon can't bring it down. Filkey taps it cleverly. Anderson gets the kick away, back towards Leslie. Leslie can't pick it up. Salmon cleverly. Gary Wilson hooks across, coming in South Australia now. Is Naily Platten it is. Watch him go. Bradley, a long one up. Kernahan at the back of the pack. Oh, what a mark. Umpire James couldn't see the little effective push. Kernahan has marked the ball. 30 metres out, right in front. Have a look at this. Kernahan stood his ground beautifully. 10th mark. Ninth mark, 10th kick. Kernahan from 20 metres. Right in front. That's it. Kernahan's 9th goal. Tap away, Naylor gets the set. Watch him go, long handball up towards Platten. Platten will need backup support. Gives it back now to Dwayne Russell. Has a flying shot. High, wide and handsome, and that's out of play on the full.
Gee, Dwayne Russell, I think he was aiming for the golf course on that occasion. Nearly found it too. Neil Curley's in there somewhere. Would be a very concerned gentleman at the moment. So would Alan Jeans. No mark. McIntosh. The handball comes out. Well smothered by Tuck. Tuck is caught. A high tackle. Well, Laurie Argent was pretty close to the action. Michael Tuck's got the free kick. Played reasonably well for the Vics. This will be his 14th kick. Peter Moore, Greg Phillips, or Victorian player pushed out. Umpire James says, play it on, boys. Phillips down. Dacos pushed over. Haven't seen Dacos for a while. The Phillips handball runs out of bounds.
Dacos hurt his knee in that second quarter, Peter, or third quarter. Hasn't been the same player since.
Yes, Ian, you're correct. I recall it now. South Australia leading by 7 points. In front, Redden used the body. Umpire James said illegally. Madden plays it on with the big left foot. Out comes Salmon. In front is Phillips. Oh, he's being paid. Didn't have a lot of it.
Oh, that was a mark, Peter. The crowd don't like it.
Well, we'll have a look at it in replay. I don't think he had a great deal of it. Yes, he did. He had enough of it. Gee, it's great to be able to see things twice, Ian, isn't it? The umpires haven't got that advantage. Kick number 9 for big Paul Salmon. He's kicked 4-2. Oh, he ran in close to the man on the mark. Very close to a big score. It has just snuck through. 5 goals, Paul Salmon. And the Victorians jump back. 15-7 to South Australia, 15-8.
Well, there's never been a Victorian side that's beaten yet. And what a game of football. Salmon came charging out. Phillips went back. Parker was there with him, but the big fella was good enough. Fine grab, and what a magnificent kick from 55 metres out, and Victoria are 1 point down.
We're past the halfway mark of the last quarter. Mick Redden up very high. Dwayne Russell, strong as they come. Neil Craig ran past the ball. Cunningham, Buckley, here's a go for Victoria. Wayne Johnston, the little dominator, takes off. Kicks long into the teeth of goals. Just touched, in fact, by Filkey, who made great ground. And the score's once again level here at Football Park.
What a game of football. Almost 16 minutes into the final quarter. Parker to boot South Australia back into attack, or back into play. Phillips behind, and the umpire has seen a free kick there, going to Victoria. Gerard Healy, Salmon on the lead. In there is Parker, White getting back as well. Good mark, Victoria. Well taken, Peter Dacos. He used his experience to edge the South Australian underneath the ball, and the Vics have got a chance now to take the lead. Dacos, kick number 12. Oh, that's a shocker, going right across the face of goal. And Phillips lets it go out of play, and the penalty free kick. Redden off, Johnson off.
Redden appears to have an injured knee. Johnston making ground now. The play on was to Phillips. Phillips puts it very wide. Anderson in front. Motley breaks through. Back towards Anderson, but Gerard Healy intercepted. Players everywhere at the moment. The handball comes out. Looking for Bernie Evans. Wayne Johnston getting kicks now. Dummies beautifully. Clever footballer. The kick on the way. It's going to bounce just outside the square. Hits the umpire, and Victoria now have hit the front. 15-9, South Australia 15-8.
Well, there's players with some socks down now, Peter, but gee, so they ought to. The pace has been unbelievable. A long kick by Parker. Johnson thumped away, back towards the half-forward line. Dacos holding the ball. Robin White, one of the best tacklers in South Australian football, has Motley clear, a little bit slow, getting it away to that player. Looking for it, close to the line. Right there with him is Cunningham. Motley gets the ball away, but too slow, holding the ball. Fine tackle by Jeff Cunningham, and he's got it on the half-back line. Cunningham, not a lot of movement now. Off goes Moore, but Cunningham ducks back, goes other way. Madden Johnson underneath the ball, edged underneath the ball by Madden, and Big Johnson has got the free kick. Oh, Phillips, here's trouble. That's an awful mistake. Hawkins, short, going quickly in to get the ball now is Evans, and he's got it 30 metres out. The second time South Australia has made a mistake going for the short kick across goals, intercepted by Victoria once in the third quarter, and now Bernie Evans has got a chance to kick Victoria 2 kicks clear. 30 metres out, not a good looking kick. I think it's just offline. Lucky for South Australia, not a good kick by Evans. Victoria by 2 points.
Well, there have been 30 goals kicked tonight and only 18 points, so that indicates the players have kicked well, but in fact there have been a lot of easy goals missed. Peter Moore's played a great game for the Vics. Martin Leslie then should have knocked away. It's easy to say, pretty hard to do though against a man like Peter Moore. Decides to go out very wide. He's found a player, but that's very indirect. Wayne Johnson picking up kicks at will in this last quarter. He's had 5 so far this quarter. 18 for the match. He's a top little player. Kicked a goal in the second quarter. Carlton captain taking a lot of time. Oh, he kicked into the man on the mark. That'll be play on. Oh, bad bounce. Max Parker. Salmon got the kick away. In comes Bernie Evans. He's been paid. Didn't go a long way, the ball, but the umpire must have got his tape measure out to measure that one. Bernie Evans has the chance now for Victoria. They lead by 2 points. Evans shouldn't miss from there, and he doesn't. It's just snuck through his first goal. South Australia, though, clearing on that occasion was Schneebickler. With the run of the ball, Anderson, and also Doug Hawkins. And he is covering a lot of ground, Doug Hawkins. He's also kicked 2 goals. He's been a valuable player. Left half forward flank for South Australia. Kernahan, number 16. Madden, 23 for Victoria. Madden got it down beautifully towards Buckley. Buckley fell over. The tackle's applied. Platten, with hair flowing. He's been a little tiger for South Australia this evening, and we see another bounce down. Left half forward flank. Kernahan in there. Also Madden. Out of bounds again. And we'll see a ball in.
Half forward left flank. Inside the half-forward line, South Australia down by 8 points. The moment of truth for the home side. Kernahan and Madden at the back waiting for it. Russell in there. Boss had an airy, got another kick away. Bradley with the pace. Right there with him is Hawkins, close to the line. And the ball has gone out of play once more. On the full, or is it going to... Yes, on the full. And the penalty free kick, Ackley gives it back to a teammate. And it'll be Mark Boss from half-back flank. A long one towards centre wing. Madden up, can't bring it down. Tuck off the fingers to the half-forward line. Wilson, at the back of the pack. Oh, Victoria, watch Dacos bolt now. Heads to the open goal. I think he's missed it. Oh, an incredible miss from one of the most skillful footballers in Australia. No pressure on him at all. And South Australian fans breathe a sigh of relief.
Gee, the Victorians are making similar mistakes to those made by South Australia in the third quarter. In fact, there's a bit of a northerly breeze blowing at the moment, to the end to which South Australia is kicking. Platten was tackled, he didn't have the ball. No doubt about Glenn James. When he sees them, he pays them. Motley, a lot of pace. Doug Hawkins got plenty too. He had the ball, then dropped it, holding the man. Depends which way you see them, doesn't it? Doug Hawkins, short. Inner space there, taking the mark for Victoria is John Kennedy. Been off and on a few times tonight, 15 metres as well. Kennedy will take advantage of that, and he goes short. Gerard Healy, socks down. He knows how to kick a goal. Lines him up from a long way out. Robin White just collided with the post. I think of better things to collide with. Victoria, 16. Have a look at that. Bang.
Perfect shirt front, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Post didn't move. Parker, a long kick back now towards Phillips. Moore there as well. Madden too. Second grab. Moore can't get it out. He can now. Tuck under pressure. Madden again. Play on is the call. Beautifully read, however, by McIntosh. A long one goes over now to Steve Bickler. Not a good kick. Coming across quickly is Victoria's. That would be boss. He finds Evans. Evans short. Or bad bounce went against Buckley. In there again. He's hanging on to it a long time, but he got the kick away finally. Madden searching for it. Scoops it out. Chance Evans. A bad bounce goes against him. Platten back. Evans well done to Johnson. Platten fighting like a terrier in for the football. And the umpire will come in and bounce inside Victoria's half-forward line.
There he is, the little terrier. He did a lot of hard work then against Wayne Johnston and Bernie Evans, beat both of them in the sense that he didn't let either player take control of the ball. 108, plays 98, 10 points in it. Down it comes, Robin McKinnon. Platten again, he's got the run of it. Schneebichler wants it at centre half forward. He's in front, the big punch away. Schneebichler keeps the ball in front of him. Mark Boss also. We see it out of bounds now, right half forward flank for South Australia. Kernahan comes way down for the ruck work, leaving Roberts in the square. Kernahan with 9 goals has been a superstar this evening. Looks like Healy covering a lot of ground. He might be playing on the ball. I think he's had the occasional run, and now we'll see Grantley Filkey take the free kick.
Into time on of the final quarter. Time running out for South Australia now. Almost 2 goals down up towards the half-forward line. Coming in Ackley. Kicks it out into no man's land. Going after it now will be Hawkins, or the bounce wasn't for him. Chance South Australia. Anderson can't find the football. Quickly now through, or South Australian player grab with the ball in Bradley. And umpire Argent will come in, and if the players can get up off the ball, gee, do you think there's some tired players out there now? Gary Firth, the Victorian player, to bounce inside the South Australian half-forward line, desperately needing a goal now. Madden gets the tap away, can't find a teammate. Wayne Russell in there, stacks on the mill again, and the umpire will come in for another bounce.
10 points in it. South Australia going to the golf course end of Football Park with the aid of a slight breeze. I guess all players out there very tired. Kernahan up early. Bernie Evans got fresh legs, so has Jimmy Jess. He goes short on the outer side of the ground. Peter Moore completely missed it. Greg Phillips kicks it back with the left boot. Russell underneath the ball, but a fine diving mark taken out there by David Ackley. He elects to play it on. Victoria now run it out through Bernie Evans. Back towards centre half back. The pack forms. Jimmy Buckley ran it beautifully. He gets the kick into full forward. Max Parker will mark that ball. He'll play it on as well. Motley, South Australia still running. The kick away, not a good one though. Bernie Evans again, getting a lot of touches. Not a good kick away though, and Grantley Filkey marks it.
Centre half back, 2 goals clear Victoria. 15 metres. South Australia won a goal and won it quick. Going well now is Motley. Craig has got the football. 10 points the difference, 2 straight kicks. Craig on the lead now is Kernahan. Good mark. Gee, the time's ticking away though. Kernahan 35 metres out. 11th mark. 11th kick coming up. Has kicked 9. Heads towards the golf course end. Going for his 10th goal. Ball coming back with boot goal. 10 goals, Stephen Kernahan. Oh, what a performance. And South Australia 1 straight kick down.
10 goals won, Stephen Kernahan. I can recall back in 1973, Alex Jezelenko kicking 10 goals won for Victoria. What a great performance, Kernahan. He's been the star of the night. There's the mark, and he kicked the goal. South Australia still in with a chance.
Oh, what a finish. Madden against Johnson. Line ball out towards centre wing. Going through quickly now, Anderson. Up towards full forward. First to recover will be Roberts. Can't get it out. Ackley can. In goes Victoria's Healy. And the umpire will come in and bounce the ball inside South Australia's half-forward line. Time ticking away, over 3 minutes of time on. Could be into the last minute. The next scoring shot could be the last. A bounce ball. Tap away. Wayne Russell tries to get through. Tuck can. High back up towards Johnson. Fine mark. McIntosh. Phillips on the lead. Kernahan. With him is Mew. Can't get it back. Quickly in for Victoria is Hawkins.
Hawkins clears it for Victoria. Desperate they are. Wayne Johnson is caught. Cole. Umpire James said that's holding the ball. South Australia still a chance, trailing by 4 points. Anderson will have to hurry the kick. There must only be seconds left. A huge kick, Anderson. Kernahan under the ball, he couldn't mark it. Play on, says umpire James. The pack forms and we'll see a bounce 15 metres from the South Australian goal. What an amazing finish. Can Kernahan kick 11? Can any South Australian player score? Kernahan knocked it over the top. Michael Tuck, he's played a great last quarter. Puts it out to Wayne Johnson, and what a quarter of football he's played.
Johnson will slow the play down. Time is on Victoria's side. 19 kicks, Johnson, a long one towards centre wing. Working for it is Phillips and Moore. Moore comes out with it. Victoria going to attack. Up towards the half-forward line. Wilson and Motley. Motley comes away with the ball. Quickly in Cunningham, the bounce will decide. McKinnon, Leslie over the top. The ball in Victoria's attacking area. Time running out, 29 minutes gone. South Australia down by 4. What a game of football. Crowd silent when Victorian attack. Moore, Johnson breaking his way through for Victoria, smothered off the boot. Stacks on the mill, another bounce down by umpire Argent.
Well, we're past the 29-minute mark. South Australia 4 points down. It's been a top game of football. A big crowd, in excess of 50,000 people have loved every minute of it. Out it comes to Gerard Healy. Here's a chance, Bernie Evans. Hooks it around the body. Paul Salmon underneath the ball. The siren's gone. The mark will not be paid. What a great spectacle here at Football Park. Victoria 16-12 have defeated South Australia 16-8. We'll be back in a moment at Football Park.
Oh, what a finish. What a magnificent game of football. Victoria 16-12 got in by 4 points against the same against South Australia, 16 goals 8. Victoria won, but Peter Marker also must be the winner, was the game of football.
Well, it certainly was, Ian, and in fact there were 52,719 people here at Football Park to witness a great spectacle, and well, Alan Aylett, you're in Ireland. I think you should have been at Football Park to see what it's all about, this game of Australian football. People love seeing the best players play. We saw them tonight. South Australia had its fair share of top players, so did Victoria. Well, who were some of them, Ian?
Well, Peter, as far as I was concerned, for South Australian, best man on the ground has simply got to be Stephen Kernahan with 10 goals. What a magnificent performance. But we'll go down into the rooms now and let's hear what Victorian coach Alan Jeans has to say about the game.
Thank you, Ian. With Victorian coach Alan Jeans at the moment. Alan, a magnificent game of football.
Oh yes, I think both sides did credit to their states, and we were lucky enough to finish in front at the end of the game.
How did you feel midway through that final quarter when scores were locked together?
Oh, it was a tight game all day, and you know, as I just said, full credit must go to both sides. They fought it out, and particularly when they played on Saturday and they had to come up on Tuesday night, and only good can come out of games like that, because it was a truly magnificent Australian rules football game tonight.
Victoria never gave up tonight, but where do you think you won the game overall?
Oh, I think just a little bit of steadiness in the end, and the enthusiasm of the South Australians were enormous early, and I think that some of the little players just tired a little bit. I thought their ruck rovers and rovers causes a lot of havoc, and their enthusiasm, and they did so much work early. I just think they got a little bit tired, and we just had a little bit too much height in the end. Well, players get tired, and big tall players don't get short as the night progresses.
If you were a talent scout for Victoria, any names from the South Australian sides that would head your list at the moment? Oh. Kernahan maybe?
Oh yes, some wonderful players out there, and you know, as I said, they would do very well over in Victoria, but that's not the reason we came over here. The reason we came over here is to play the game and try and promote the game, and I think we did that tonight, and to the organisers, to the people and to the players who participated, full credit to them.
Thank you, Alan. Congratulations to Victoria. Great job, and well, maybe next year we'll do just one goal better maybe and take it out.
That's right.
Thank you, Alan. We'll come back to Football Park after this short break. Welcome back to Football Park. I think you'd have to agree, a magnificent introduction to interstate football at night. The first game here played under lights at Football Park between South Australia and Victoria, and for Victoria it's been a happy occasion. They've got these goals on the board. They've won by 4 points. The final score 16 goals 12 Victoria, South Australia 16 goals 8 and 104 points. A magnificent night, a magnificent occasion, and congratulations to the Victorian side. A reminder that on the 7 Network next Tuesday night we'll have the Sterling Cup match, the Swans versus Fitzroy. Do hope you've enjoyed us tonight, and hope we've brought you